Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ringside at Ullman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. Steve Beverly bringing you the blow-by-blow of Golden Gloves Boxing. It is Hub City Fight Night here in the Hub City of West Tennessee. And we were not able to have this event last year because of COVID, and it's a terrific opportunity for us to all be back together and do this. We had preliminary matches last night, and a lot of these are for championships. This is in our junior division. And I'll point out to you that the red gloves match up with the red corner, and the guy wearing the blue gloves matches up with the blue corner. And what you've got is Javon Walton taking on Micah Brown. Javon is in the red gloves in the black outfit, and the all-blue outfit in the blue gloves is Micah Brown. They both come in here, and this is really, particularly Golden Gloves, one of the things they try to do is with the younger kids, they keep the rounds very, very limited as far as the length of time. They're 1-minute rounds when they're the younger kids. And then as it goes on up into the older ones, and particularly when you get into the elite division and the intermediates, it goes to 1.5 minute and 2-minute rounds. Maximum 3 rounds. Oftentimes in the first round, and particularly with the younger kids, they are attempting to just measure each other, feel each other out to determine just exactly where the vulnerabilities and the openings are. And you can see a tremendous exchange right here in front of our vantage point. We are live to Worthy Road Studios, and there's the end of the first round. Worthy Road Studios is your sponsor of Hub City Fight Night here on the BallGame Blitz site, and we are delighted to be bringing it to you. Worthy Road Studios, the finest in sports and event production in West Tennessee, in this region. Paul Schultze, our executive producer and our director tonight. And for those of you who are interested in seeing some of the other bouts, those are going to be on the Worthy Road Studios Facebook page, and then they will all eventually be, individual bouts will be edited, and they will be shown on the Worthy Road Studios YouTube page. Lamont Ingram has just done a tremendous job putting all of this together, and of course, Rhonda Collins, the widow of the late and fabulously great Rayford Collins, who started the Jackson Boxing Club, and it was 41 years ago here at Ullman Arena that his first card was presented back in 1980. That's when this building was the Jackson Coliseum. And you've got people here going down to a knee. They did not go to a standing 8 count at that point. It was more of a slip than anything else. Scoring is on the 10-point must system, and for those of you who are boxing devotees, you know exactly what that means. To win a round, you get 10 points, and the determination is, okay, is it 10-9, 10-8, and the judges, if it is a draw, it will be 10-10. And you see a huge exchange right at our ringside camera. And these two young men, again, their coaches are at ringside, and that's the standard in Golden Gloves. And you may hear in the background some of the instructions that are coming from their coaches when they see a very positive delivery, and also when they're telling them to go more on defense. This is the first of, on our schedule here, will be the first of about 17 bouts that we are expecting during the course of this afternoon and evening. The last time we were together for this, it was a week before everything, and that's the end of round 2. It was a week before everything shut down because of COVID. We were at the National Guard Armory in Jackson, Tennessee, and what happened at that point is we had a terrific night there. It's a very intimate setting and an excellent evening. My partner, Jackson Milner, and I brought you those bouts, but then all of a sudden, the following week, that's when you had the NCAA basketball tournament abruptly canceled. All of the conference tournaments were canceled. The whole thing just completely went in the tubes for so much of sport at that point in time. And so for Hub City Fight Night, we were not able to do a spring show this year, but here we are in October. And this is round 3. This will be the last of them. As I mentioned, they all wear the headgear. In case you're not familiar with this brand of boxing, in all of the age groups, they wear the headgear. And what in particular, the judges are told to do is to, be as completely, if you know somebody who's a fighter, don't let that influence your scoring. But as well, the referee has the jurisdiction to be able to stop a bout at any given time, and in some of our bouts that we had last night, that happened a couple of times. If he is convinced that perhaps maybe there have been 2 or 3 situations where he's had to break them up because one guy really just took it pretty heavy pounding. And then also the physicians that are at ringside, and we do have doctors that are standing by at ringside that will they will examine these competitors after each bout, just to be sure that there's no wobbly head or there's nothing that needs to be checked on in particular. And a doctor does have the jurisdiction to stop a bout as well. That happened once in our Friday night matches here. And we're glad we can bring you all of these live today here from Jackson, Tennessee in Ullman Arena. You got the Lugo fight team, and they have a big contingent here, and their coach is from Georgia. He's one of the most respected that we have here in this entire event. The winners of the championship belts receive these impressive orange belts. I'll point out something else to you as well as we wind down. Only about 10 seconds left in this third round. If you hear a pounding 3 times, that means there's 10 seconds left in the round. The timekeeper has a hammer, and there's a spot next to the bell, and he just whams it 3 times, and that is to signify to the fighters and everyone else 10 seconds remaining. As I mentioned, we're running 2 rings, and so the other bouts, Coach Joe Holloway, one of my old friends here from Jackson, Tennessee, he's calling those bouts. The runners-up receive a plaque, and the winner receives a championship belt. And here we go. We'll find out. They're still tabulating over on the other side. Unanimous decision. Javon Walton, the winner. He's the one in the red corner in the red gloves, and he receives the championship belt. Micah Brown, as the runner-up, receives the plaque. And so we are underway with number 1 here, and our next one's going to be in the youth division. It is Zachary Wagonmaker, and I got to see him last night. He's going against another terrific fighter, Alan Fuentes. Both of them go in at 150 pounds, and so you're going to find, I think, some tremendous action. This Wagonmaker is a hard puncher, and he had a tough opponent last night, and he's coming in. He is really energetic when he hits the ring. And these 2 guys touch gloves. I got to see Fuentes last night as well. Fuentes is going to be in the blue corner with the blue gloves and with the black top and wearing the red gloves in the red corner. That's Zachary Wagonmaker. Both of them at 150 pounds. And in the bouts that we have tonight, our largest combination is going to be when we get down to about our 16th bout of the evening, 220 pounds each they will go. We have one 240-pounder who was eliminated last night. But the bigger these guys are, sometimes, as it sounds like probably a cliche, the tougher those blows are. And you've had family members who have traveled here to Jackson, Tennessee to see their sons and, in a couple of cases, daughters compete. We do have a couple of girls' bouts, and we'll be bringing you one of those later on in our webcast. And again, in this one, 2 minutes for each of the 3 rounds. All of them are 3 rounds. All of the bouts that we have will be 3-rounders. This one is going to be a 2-minute, and our next one as well will be a 2-minute round. Then we'll go down to some of the younger ones, and that will be a 1-minute round. But it's Wagonmaker in the red gloves and Fuentes in the blue gloves. Glad to have you aboard because this is a fun night for these young people as they compete for the championships in each of their rounds and divisions. As I say, these two guys, and this Wagonmaker, he attacks. He's getting hit a bit across with a couple of right crosses. And a big flurry there by Fuentes. As much as anything, when you see these Golden Gloves fighters, it's also building confidence in them. This is really something that's a very difficult art to master. But you can see great sportsmanship. I saw it all through our bouts last night between these guys before and after the bouts. And they learn a lot in each bout. One of the things they're instructed to do by a lot of these coaches is to go more to the body, because you can pile up points with the judges that way. It's not necessarily if you go into a flurry and you miss a lot of punches, can you connect to the body? And there goes one to the solar plexus. And again, measuring with the right and the left is Fuentes. And this is a pretty even round so far. And if you hear what sounds like an odd buzzer, that is the other ring, not this one. We have a bell in this one, and that's to distinguish between the two areas so you don't have fighters to get confused. 10 seconds remaining in the round. And I doubt you're going to see much of a flurry as we end it, and so round 1 is over. And they'll go to their respective corners. And I had an opportunity, I was the ring announcer last night, and I had an opportunity to listen in some of these corners as the coaches are trying to do everything possible in addition to get them refreshed. But they also are doing heavy amount of coaching based on what they saw in the first round and in the second round if it goes to a third. And so it's a unique challenge for all of these fighters across the board because many of them, this is a circuit, and they go to different cities, oftentimes multiple weekends in a row. They really have a challenge because some of them have seen these opponents previously. And so you adjust your attack style, you adjust your defense accordingly. And there goes the 3 hammers to say 10 seconds away from the start of the second round. And again, Wagonmaker, if you just joined us, Wagonmaker is in the red gloves and Fuentes is in the blue. And they go and exchange each one with left hands. none of those blows landing with a lot of authority. It's been interesting. Wagonmaker has been more of a defensive fighter than I saw him last night when he really went to the offense against his opponent. Again, 2-minute rounds. That was a good right by Wagonmaker. Now watch, they'll come in and break this one up. And the officials, they jump in very, very cleanly and quickly to try to keep that from continuing. Wagonmaker measuring with the left. Same for Fuentes. Again, this has been a very evenly matched bout between these two. Both of them go at 150 pounds. They had weigh-ins this morning at 8 o'clock. And there goes one to the back. Not had as many punches connecting in this round. There's been a lot of measuring. Wagonmaker ducks away from a right. Ten seconds remaining in the round. And both of them getting a flurry as the round comes to an end. So we finished 2 of our 3 rounds. And as we do, we remind you that Worthy Road Studios brings you outstanding athletic and events, athletic competition and events all throughout West Tennessee. And if you want to see college sports from Union University, Freed-Hardeman University, and some of the other high schools that we have in this area, this is the place to be because you have outstanding production, and it also does a lot to showcase these individual young people who are stars in their own right and on the way up in their athletic careers, and that includes these fighters that we see here in the Golden Gloves competition, which is really, it's the way to do it right, to teach these young people this skill and also the opportunity to be able to have the chance to earn championships in this type of competition. Here's the 3rd round. And a very quick one on the inside by Fuentes. And this round, what you really want to do is try to impress the judges as much as possible, and both of them not connecting. When there goes to the body by Wagonmaker, and he ducks away from another one. You got a heavy exchange, but not many of these blows are actually connecting. And you can see and hear the crowd getting a lot more intense about this one. A lot more activity in this round. There's one that glances off of the right cheek by Fuentes. And he connects to the body, and then one to the chest by Wagonmaker. And again, not as much defensive boxing in this, the 3rd round. They are looking for every opportunity they have to just connect and try to impress these judges with the amount of contact that they're making. There goes Fuentes with an impressive array, and he's backing up Wagonmaker into the corner. And multiple exchanges. Fuentes going to the body. He ducks away from a left. This crowd gets into it. One to the, again, right into the stomach. Fuentes takes one to the right cheek. And I'm telling you, you are seeing some unbelievable action here in this 3rd round. 10 seconds remaining, both of them trying to make that last impression on the judges. We had a few split decisions last night. And an excellent 3rd round between both of these guys. And we will await the judges' decision. They'll bring it over to the tabulator. And our tabulator last night was extraordinarily helpful to me because as ring announcer, one of the things I did was I had to wait on the decision, and she would raise either a red or a blue bandana so that I would know which one to announce in the process. And as we mentioned, the one who is going to take this championship home receives the orange belt, and the runner-up will receive the plaque. But these guys had a hard set of competition last night. And even though you may think only 3 rounds, only 9 minutes of boxing, actually 6 minutes of boxing, you think about that, it still takes a lot of energy out of them. So here we go. We're waiting on the total, and Lamont Ingram is going to announce the winner. These two guys with a tremendous amount of respect for each other, great sportsmanship. And the winner is Alan Fuentes. And he just really connected with more blows during the course of his 3 rounds, and especially in the final round. So Fuentes comes away with the belt. Wagonmaker takes the plaque as the runner-up. And we'll have more action coming right on your way here at Oman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. This is a legendary place that started in 1968. It's 53 years old, started as the Jackson Coliseum. It was the home for 22 years of the NAIA Women's National Championship Basketball Tournament, which came to Jackson in 1990. And you had teams from all over America that came here. At one time, I think it was measured that teams from 34 different states and Canada, Simon Fraser University from Canada, came here to Oman Arena to participate in the NAIA Women's National Championship Tournament, and there was a lot of local celebration during those 22 years. 5 times Union University came away with the national title in this building. Lambeth University, that is no longer, it is now the University of Memphis, Lambeth, but Lambeth University was also a champion in 2007. And so 6 times Jackson School came away with the spoils. And we're getting ready for our next bout, and this one is going to be in the elite division. It's another 2-minute series of rounds, and you have both of them at 115 pounds. Ray Lewis is going to be in the red corner, and Shadronica Street will be in the blue corner. He's wearing a red outfit, but he's got the blue gloves on. So to distinguish between the two, with the red gloves, Lewis, he's in the red corner, and Street is in the blue corner with the blue gloves. Okay, this is it, because they had the line across it. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. Let me kind of correct you on this one. My bout sheet, it had a line all the way across this bout. Let me reset who your competitors are. They go in at 105 pounds each, and I saw them both last night. Thor Hill, it's a junior division bout. Thor Hill is in the red corner with the red gloves. Anthony Walsh in the blue corner. Ray Lewis and Shadronica Street, they'll be in the next bout. But my bout sheet had a line drawn through this, so it appeared that it was a scratch. Anyway, these things happen. We had a couple of these things to happen last night when we were involved in it. These two guys are very, very fast. First round tends to be a little bit more defensive. This Thor Hill, though, he fires away. He was in the other ring last night, and he just absolutely was. He was amazing the way that he came at his opponent. But this Anthony Walsh, he has no problem answering. And there is a strong right, and the referee says you got to watch where you're doing that when I'm trying to get you apart. So he gives a little small warning to Anthony Walsh. Again, a 2-minute round. Again, for those of you who tuned in late, and what happened is they heard the buzzer from the other ring, and I think they thought it was time to end, but we haven't even reached the 10-second mark. Boy, up against the ropes, a huge exchange, an attempt to go to the body heavily by Anthony Walsh. Walsh takes it to the head. These two guys have been very impressive, very even matched. 8 seconds remaining in the round. And that's the end of round one. Last night, Hill was in a bout that was stopped by the official. His opponent really took some hard blows in the second round, and it was stopped about 8 seconds before the end of that second round. But Walsh was a very, very impressive competitor in the one that I saw with him last night. I was jogging back and between the two rings last night as ring announcer, and they would start one in ring one. It's one of the rare times that you see an event that has two rings going simultaneously. They would start one in ring one, and then after round one was over, then they would start the bout in ring number two. So I almost needed 4 sets of eyes to be able to keep up with everything. But it was really a fun night last night. We were here from the bout started about 4:45 and ended up right at 8 o'clock last night. And you could hear Walsh's coach telling him to be careful of the jab. That's one of the things that Hill is really, really important with that left jab, and he ducks away from a long one as they both measure each other, and they're going to go up right up against the ropes. Nice exchange. No real authority on those blows, though. Oh, this almost was like professional wrestling as he went to the knee. I thought we were going to have a suplex there for a minute. I thought for a minute Paul Schultze, our director, was going to have to get out of the way of that one. And watch the exchanges here. That was a hard one to the head by Walsh. He's very tough when he backs his opponent up against the turnbuckle. Walsh has pretty much been the aggressor in this one, and Hill has been more defensive, at least so far as this second round is concerned. Now watch the exchanges, and the official is not going to let him stay against the ropes extraordinarily long. And again, he's going to break him up. Walsh has been absolutely relentless. There was a good left by Hill. He goes to the body with one. And that's the end of round two. And you're hearing more and more energy coming from the crowd that is here. They are judged on what is a collective score of the 3 rounds. As I mentioned in some of our previous bouts, it is what is known in boxing as a 10-round must system, where the winner of the round gets 10 points, and then the runner-up depends on how the judges view it, either 9 or 8 points. If they viewed that the round was a draw, then they can just give each of the competitors 10. And then they tally them all up at the end. It's not what happens strictly in the third round. They tally them up for all 3 rounds. So a fighter could have a very impressive finish, but if he hasn't been consistent in rounds 1 and 2, he could still lose the fight. But you can imagine probably in the last 60 seconds of this one, there's going to be a huge flurry between these two. At this weight at 105 pounds, both of them are just very, very fast. They can duck out of the way very, very quickly. Going up against the turnbuckle, right in front of our ringside camera. Hub City Fight Night from Jackson, Tennessee, live is brought to you by Worthy Road Studios, the best in sports and event production in West Tennessee. And right in front of my vantage point, they're tied up against the ropes. They got about a minute remaining in the bout. And both guys are ducking out of the way of a couple of left jabs and right crosses. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges really score this one. And they're getting tied up. The official's going to come over there and separate them. And none of those blows had significant authority. That one did. Strong left hook by Thor Hill. He gets a mild warning from the official. And again, they trade blows and not really with heavy effectiveness. There goes a left jab by Thor Hill. Walsh again, he really stalking his opponent. We're getting almost to the end, and that's it. And we'll await the judge's decision. It was particularly when you got these smaller guys and they're faster, and you have them get into situations where they're really trying to connect with a flurry of blows. It is not always successful, because a lot of times our camera angle may make it look like that they are connecting in all of those flurries, but a lot of times it's just glancing blows that they go off against the edge of the helmet. They are not necessarily connecting with all of those, but still the attempt in getting those blows. It's the most important thing is how many blows they land. If the bout is not stopped, if there's not a technical knockout, the question is, okay, how many blows did they land and how successful were those blows? And that's what the judges look at as they score each of these 3 rounds. So we'll go back up to the ring and find out who the winner is. And again, it is Hill in the red outfit. And we'll tell you in just a second as Lamont Ingram is getting the results. And it is Anthony Walsh who gets the victory. Nice handshake between these two competitors that went at it really tooth and toenail. And we congratulate both of them. They've been outstanding competitors. And, you know, when one of these loses a championship bout like this, it's not the end of the world, because they're accustomed to this. They're facing different opponents. Sometimes they might have faced the same opponent in a different competition in a different location. And so part of that is really the big thing is just learning from the experience. Now, our next bout, our competitors are getting ready to enter the ring. Next bout is going to be a little bit larger, 115-pounders, Shadronica Street against Ray Lewis. Lewis is in the red corner, and Street is in the blue corner. Lewis is going to have a small height advantage in this one. But I watched them both last night in different bouts. And you're going to see a lot of speed between these two guys. Street is very, very fast. Lewis is a very effective puncher. As we say, they both come in at 115 pounds. Each of these rounds will be 2 minutes each. I should have just said each round is 2 minutes. And Lamont Ingram is playing ring announcer as well as event coordinator, and so he's having to do, as I did last night, jog between each ring to be able to announce the winners and announce the competitors. We're so thrilled that we could be with you and present Hub City Fight Night as it returns to Oman Arena, where Rayford Collins Jackson Boxing Club originated this type of tournament competition. Ray Lewis being introduced, and this is in what is considered to be the elite division. That does not necessarily mean there are a lot of elite division competitors. It does not have anything to do with the weight that they bring to the ring, but they are more experienced. So you will see Street is in the green trunks and Lewis is in the red trunks. They're ready to go, and here we go. As I say, just watch carefully, particularly about this Lewis. He is a tremendous puncher. But Street is strong on defense. Now he's here from the Hattiesburg Boxing Club. Both trying to exchange punches to the body. Glancing blow off the left ear. And again, as we've told you, the first round, these young fighters are typically going to be trying to measure each other, determine in particular what the other one is bringing to the table. And the first round oftentimes is more defensive than anything else. I was in on some of the officials meetings yesterday in which they were basically told that if you're going to err on the side of caution, that if an official in the ring, if a referee determines that a fighter really does not need to continue, go ahead and stop it. Don't run the risk of injury to one of the young guys, and suddenly they got to take somebody to the hospital because they let a bout go on too long. This one has been largely even. That's 10 seconds remaining in this first round. Big exchange up against the ropes. Hard one, hard right by Street, and retaliating is Lewis, and that's the end of the first round. So as we told you, that first round is largely one that you'll see in most of our bouts in Golden Gloves, where both fighters are trying to determine strengths and weaknesses of the other. And if they have met before in competition, it may be there's a little bit of a change of style. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, are they doing the same thing that I came into the ring expecting? Largely, they don't get an opportunity to watch the other competitor when they are in the ring in a different bout, say the night before, because they're so focused on the bout that they have on that particular evening, in this case Friday night. But in this case, one of the things that they try to do is in the second round, you'll probably see a little bit more execution of flurries and an opportunity to try to show the real strengths of these two guys. Okay, Lewis again moving out, a little more speed than he had in the first round. Street again in the green. Has a neon green top. And Lewis in all red. There was a swing at the body, but no connecting. Lewis trying to move in with the right. And again, both measuring each other, going in with the left instead. Now I can hear the coach of Street giving him encouragement over on the other side. He said, that's what you need to do. Keep going right on ahead with that. Street, again, being very defensive, but leads with his right. Lewis almost took one to the nose. And Street manages to get him to go back a little bit further on the bicycle. Lewis is always moving in the ring. That's one of the few times you're going to see him standing still. He's really, and he'll circle back very, very well to try to get inside. He tries to go to the body again, and they separate. Ten seconds remaining in round two. An attempt to the body by Street, and that's it. Round two has been completed. So what happens usually at the end of this round, and I listened in on a couple of the exchanges with the coaches last night, what usually happens in this case is that they are trying to, they try to get them, and they get water, and they get refreshed as much as possible. They are also trying to tell these fighters, okay, where are you at in the fight right now, and what do you have to do to seal the victory? And you got a bout right here that is more than likely very, very even. There have not been a lot of heavy blows that have been connected. So this is one of the things they're going to try to do tonight here in this round, is try to give them an edge, and a mental and emotional edge, before they finish this 2 minutes in the third round. And it's very, very important to show the judges as much as possible that you are connecting with your punches. And big flurry by Street up against the ropes. And you might could have heard him with his, he was giving that Street very impressive up against the ropes. Now Lewis try to go in with the body. Good block by Street. And once again, that early flurry has moved back into more defensive boxing. And Street moves in, and they go up against the ropes. A little hesitation on the part of Lewis. That one glanced off the bicep. That one went to the, got a good right to the face by Lewis. Lewis again dancing around, but he's got to connect more. Goes one to the head. And going against the ropes, and they're going to have an exchange here. Lewis tries to retaliate with the left hand. Tries to go in with the right. Oh, he connected, and that's a slip. That was not based on any kind of a punch. He just slipped from our vantage point on the, what would be the southwest end of the ring. 10 seconds remaining. And that's the end of the third round and the bout. And we'll wait on the judges' decision. And again, it's a collective score of what happened in the 3 rounds. Not necessarily who had the biggest flurry at the end. Now, you're trying to impress the judges at that point, but you're not trying to make that last flurry be all that counts, because you got to do it in all 3 rounds. And they'll send it to the tabulator, and she will determine with the totals who is going to be the winner. And Lamont Ingram will tell us momentarily whether it is going to be Ray Lewis or Shadronica Street. As we've mentioned in all the bouts, the winner receives the orange championship belt and the loser receives a plaque. You can tell both these guys, they may have only fought 6 minutes, but they have absolutely, they're winded. All right, now they're trying to reverse them. And Ray Lewis is the winner in what was a very evenly matched bout, but Lewis comes away with it. And obviously the judges saw him connecting with more punches. You had some heavy flurries by Shadronica Street, but it was just not enough to be able to come away with the victory. And so our 4th bout is out of the way, and Ray Lewis is your winner. Now our next one, you're going to see some bigger guys coming into the ring. Jaden Kuntz, this is in the Bantam division, but Jaden Kuntz is a 174-pounder. Gary Rivers is a 174-pounder, but these are only going to be 1-minute rounds because they are less experienced than many of the other fighters. This is the division of least experience. So you're going to see a couple of guys who have got a bigger weight on them. Jaden is going to be in the red corner, and Gary will be in the blue corner. And we're moving the bouts along in a relatively fast pace here this afternoon at Oman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. But we got plenty more to go here on BallGame Blitz because we got 17 of them. So after this one, we will have 12 more to go. We're not quite a third of the way through when we finish this one. And Lamont has had to go to the other ring to announce the winner in the bouts that Coach Joe Holloway is calling. You've got a taller guy in Jaden Kuntz. A bit stockier is Gary Rivers. As we said in some of the earlier bouts, they had a weigh-in this morning at 8 o'clock. And here we go, round one. And Kuntz, and right away, a pretty big flurry by Rivers. Rivers is the smaller guy. They're both in red, but Rivers is the smaller guy. And they're both trying to connect to the head right off the bat. Not a lot of body punching that we're seeing here. This looks like one of those that you would see with a lot of haymakers being thrown after school. He missed with that right. And really close-in fighting by Rivers. And he gets Kuntz up against the ropes, and Kuntz escapes. 10 seconds remaining in the round. Remember, these are only 1-minute rounds between these two. And that is it. Again, I'll remind you, if you hear a rather odd-sounding buzzer in the background, that has nothing to do with this bout. It is always, you got a conventional boxing bell for the matches that we are covering here. And so this one will move along very, very quickly. Now, what happens as these guys get more experience, then they'll move up into a category where there are 90-second rounds, and then when they get into the most experience, there will be 2-minute rounds with 3 rounds each, as this is the case as well. So we'll have this, and we got later on in our action, we've got some younger folks and also some young women that will be going in the 1-minute rounds. But it is Kuntz in the red corner and Rivers in the blue corner. They're both wearing red, but one way to distinguish them is that Kuntz is the taller guy. And really boring in with everything that he's got. Going with a left real hard was Rivers. And Rivers is not letting up, and he's going against the turnbuckle. And he's taking it to the offense against Kuntz. They're right in front of our ringside camera. Kuntz measuring with a left. Now this Rivers, he may be a stockier guy, but he is absolutely fearless and relentless when he goes in against his opponent. Getting close to the end of round 2. There goes one to the ear, and that's the end of round 2. Again, it was an early flurry, and then it was a pretty much even bout. The big question that you have for the judges, and this is how they are looking at it, is how many blows are connecting? How many of them were effective, as opposed to, okay, how many are you throwing? Because if they don't connect, it doesn't really matter. And so you've got experienced people who are evaluating this, and you got 3 judges at ringside, and then what happens is, as we've mentioned to you earlier, the referee has the option if there was a point in the bout where perhaps maybe they were on the 2nd or 3rd standing 8 count. And that doesn't usually happen in the 1-minute bouts. But if it was a standing 8 count, and we're 10 seconds away from starting this, and you can see them getting ready once again, then the referee has the jurisdiction to say, okay, that's it. We're stopping the bout. We're not going to go any more with this. Kuntz leads early with his left and another left jab. And that's a powerful right cross. But he's decked up against the turnbuckle once again and has to dance away. And some of those that Rivers were throwing were just glancing blows. He has him up against the ropes once again, and Kuntz managed to punch his way out. But no question, Rivers is the aggressor. He will come in and bore in against his opponent, and I saw him do that last night. These bouts are under the sanction. 10 seconds left in the bout. Now, I don't think there's going to be a lot of impressive flurries here at the end. And that's it. So we'll very quickly find out how the judges evaluate this one. And one thing I want to say about these officials, and many of them are also coaches as well, but these officials and the people who give their time to coach these young people, they're here from all over the Southeast, and the ones who come here for this, you got to take your hat off to them, because they do it because they believe in young people and they believe in teaching them the right way in this specific art of self-defense, the sweet science. And I think it's great to tip your hat to all of them who come, because you know, a lot of this is time they could be spending doing other things, but they have a huge belief in the young people all throughout their communities. And the various boxing schools point that out. Well, let's see who it's going to be. Is it Rivers or is it Kuntz? Split decision. It is Jaden Kuntz by a split decision, and more than likely just as I was picking up on last night, more than likely it was because of the fact that Kuntz landed more blows. There was a lot of aggressiveness on the part of Rivers, but a lot of his punches just did not connect. So we are done with 5 bouts, and we're about to go to number 6, but let me remind you that all of the action here that is on BallGame Blitz, sponsored by Worthy Road Studios, the finest in sports, boxing, which is a sport in itself, athletic competition, and as well events throughout West Tennessee. You won't find any better than Worthy Road Sports and its executive producer and my director tonight, and that is Paul Schultze. And Paul and I will be joining up again Tuesday night for Union University volleyball. We've had a ball doing volleyball this year, and then next Saturday we'll have the opener of the season of basketball at Fred DeLay Gymnasium. So I hope all of you will continue to join us on either BallGame Blitz or Worthy Road Studios, or if the case of Union, on the Union University website. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there. But now we're getting ready for our next bout. We got one of the competitors in the ring. This one is going to be a 125-pound weight classification, and this is going to be another elite bout that goes for 2 minutes. And in the red corner already there is Devontarius Williams. I did not get to see his bout last night, but I saw Alexander Martinez, who is a very impressive competitor, and they're having a discussion right now, and this happens sometimes as to whether or not – here he comes. Martinez is up in the ring. There was a discussion going on, but I think they've got it all cleared up. So it is Martinez in the – he's in the red, white, and blue, and he will be in the blue corner. And Williams will be in the red corner, and he is wearing all red. He, again, is with Lugo Boxing from Georgia, has made the trip. I don't know what the score is right now, but I can tell you late in the second quarter, Georgia was ahead of Florida 24-0, and that made me extraordinarily happy because I'm originally from Georgia, and I went to the University of Georgia. I'm not sure whether Devontarius is really up on it right now, but Martinez, again, he is a very fast fighter that I saw last night. He'll be giving away a bit of height. And we're about set to go. And the official is going to signal the bell. He brings the two fighters together. As I mentioned, great sportsmanship in Golden Gloves boxing. These guys are taught to respect each other as well as to be highly competitive. And that's one of the great things about it. Last night I didn't see one show of temper or any ill effects from this. There was just a lot of patting on the head and back after the bouts were over, regardless of whether the guy was the winner or the runner-up. And again, these are going to be 2-minute rounds. These are experienced fighters, smaller weight class. Martinez is one who is like Lewis in the last round. He will bore in. Pardon me, like Gary Rivers was. He will bore in. Somewhat of a quiet bout so far. Not seeing a lot of connection. Both these two guys looking for an opening. Martinez moving both to his left and right. He's wearing the gold shoes. That was a quick left that did not connect, and then an attempt to match it by Martinez. Williams is pushed back against the ropes, and then he has a flurry to get his way out. About halfway through round one. And again, not a lot of blows have been connecting in this round. Martinez tries to lead with a right. and an attempt for a few jabs, and that didn't connect, and then trying to go to the body is Williams. There he goes, a couple of blows to the head. Good match connections between the two of them. And we're almost to the end, and we are to the end of round one. And both these fighters will get a refresher. And our next bout is going to be one in an intermediate division, and all of those are 90-second rounds. And you're going to be seeing a couple of guys in that one that'll go about 128 pounds. They are not a great deal larger than the two guys you see in the ring at this point. But you see these coaches as they get into the ring, and they literally do what you – it's almost like what you say, that some coaches are great at developing a game plan and others are good at being a game coach, actually coaching the in-game situation. Well, if you're a coach of these boxers, you're doing both. You're setting their game plan as to what their strengths are, and then as the bout proceeds – when you get to get with them in between rounds, your job really is to teach them adjustments. How do you adjust what you're doing against what happened against your guy? And there goes Martinez with a couple of quick ones. And he's going in with the right and the left. And then going up against the ropes and trying to bounce his way out of it was Williams. And you're seeing a lot more connectivity, if you will, here in this second round. Referee separates them. Martinez goes in with a left, and now with a headlock, they're going to break them apart. There you go, one to the body, and Williams took a pretty hard one there. Trying to lead with a left is Williams, but protecting himself well is Martinez, and he comes back with a right. And once again, the headlock. And the official trying to make sure that he's not wobbly in any way after that slip. Up against the ropes and separated. As I say, Martinez is lightning quick. He comes up with another strong right. And they will separate again. That one just glanced off of the left bicep of Williams. Referee separates them once again. 10 seconds remaining in round two. Quickly is Martinez going in with a right. And goes in with the body as well. You have to be very, very careful with him when he gets a separation. And if he knows, there's one thing about it, he knows how late it is in the round, and he senses it, and he goes back in and came back with that quick combination that he had. I will say once again that there are medical personnel who are here at ringside. They're at an alternate table from us, and at any time that particularly the attending doctor at each of the rings, at any time that they sense that a boxer is just absolutely should not continue, they do have the right to tell the referee to stop the fight. And they do check each of the fighters immediately after the bout to be sure that, you know, they're okay. And that is a requirement of Golden Gloves Boxing and USA Boxing, which is the primary sanctioning body of all of these events. And there you go, quick flurry by Martinez. He's going hard. And trying to retaliate is Williams, but Martinez is just, he's quick as a cat. He tries to move in aggressively, and they both are trading blows here in the center of the ring. And there went back to a bit of a front face lock. I know sometimes I might drift into using wrestling terminology, but that's really what it was. The official separates them once again here in this third and final round. They ducked out of the way. About halfway through this final round of action. There goes a blow by Martinez that goes off of the right eye. Williams seemed to handle it fairly well. Now he moves in with an opportunity to go to the body. Missed with a right cross. There's a wild swinging one by Martinez, and he comes in. None of those had a great deal of authority. Williams managed to dodge out of the way of it, but certainly Martinez is being the aggressor. And he goes in with a right once again. Tries another right. Now going to the body. And connecting with a right hand is Williams. And a couple of jabs. 10 seconds remaining in the bout. And they are both in a huge flurry here as we get close to the very end. And there's your bout. As we told you, this young Martinez is very, very fast. He's lightning quick. And Williams is a good puncher, but he just seemed to be more on the defensive in a lot of that bout, particularly in rounds 2 and 3. So we will await the decision on the part of the judges as the tabulator is now going to collect them up, and we'll find out exactly from Lamont Ingram, who is he's the leader of the Jackson Boxing Club now, and also is the coordinator of Hub City Fight Night, and has made so many things happen here in this community for young people. I just found out in the last 24 hours that he's actually a neighbor of mine. Well, I mean, he lives around the corner from me. And let's see what Lamont's going to tell us. Dipping to a knee is Martinez. And here we go. It's by unanimous decision. And it goes to Devontarius Williams. So apparently the judges felt like that he landed more effective blows that really obliterated the fast attack from Alexander Martinez. So that was a big surprise, I know, to some of the people who were here, because Martinez had a big cheering section going behind him. But everything went in the direction, and the judges saw it as a unanimous decision for Devontarius Williams. Now, our next bout that we have coming up, as we mentioned, this is going to be in the intermediate category, and those are guys who, between what is called an elite and what is called a bantam, they go 90 seconds with their rounds. So you're going to have a young guy at 128 pounds, Lavin Carroll, and his opponent is a young man that I got a chance to see last night, Aiden Flatt. And Flatt's a very, very impressive boxer, no question about it. I did not have a chance to see Carroll last night, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all develops. Now, both of them are going to be wearing blue, although Carroll has on the black trunks, but Carroll is in the red corner and Flatt is in the blue corner. Each round a minute and a half in this classification, and then we're going to have 4 straight elite bouts that get us back into the 2-minute category. This is the 7th of 17 bouts that we have live for you on BallGame Blitz. Over at Worthy Road Studios, Coach Joe Holloway is giving us another 17. And we're just glad to have all of you aboard, and I hope those of you who like to see these young people participate in a sport that, and they do everything they can to stress safety. And there you go, Coach Joe Holloway. He's calling the action, and they're about to have a decision there. Coach Joe is one of the great basketball coaches, and then he has also been a sportscaster in this area for as long as I can remember, ever since I was here in 1990. In fact, Joe, as far as we know, may be the only person in the state of Tennessee who ever coached a high school game and then had a knock on the door. We got a problem. The broadcaster for the boys' game is not here. He came out and did the play-by-play of the boys' game immediately after the girls' game that he had just coached was over. So that's one of those things that needs to be in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, is just a measure of trivia. So let's see what's happening here. We had both fighters in the ring, and then one of them has departed. Now he's back. I think he had to have an equipment adjustment. So back in is Carroll, and we'll be ready to go here momentarily. This has been a two-day event, started Friday afternoon at approximately 10 minutes till 5, and we had 3 hours of bouts yesterday. And we're moving very rapidly through these this evening. They got to get Lamont over here to this ring. He's just introduced two fighters in the other ring. They got to get him over here to introduce these two young men. Here he comes. Lamont is getting as much exercise as, not that he needs it terribly, but Lamont is getting as much exercise tonight as I did last night, because I was doing what he did, going between, because we weren't streaming last night. I was going between both rings because sometimes you have two bouts going on simultaneously, or you have a bout that is just finished, and then you announce that winner, and then you got to go to the other ring and announce who the competitors are in it. It finally got into a tempo last night, and I was able to get all of my bearings straight with that eventually. But again, Lavin Carroll is in the red corner with the blue top and the black trunks. And in all blue, in the blue corner, it is Aiden Flatt. And you can see there's a lot. Flatt is really trying to be the aggressor early. He's bearing in, and he has knocked his opponent against the ropes, against the turnbuckle, and managing to dance his way out of it was Carroll, but he was in a world of hurt. He goes to the body. The coaches really encourage these fighters to go to the body as much as possible, because you have a better chance in most instances of connecting blows, and the official's going to give a standing 8 count, even though Carroll is protesting about it. All right, that's the first standing 8 count that we've had in a bout today. And again, moving him against the turnbuckle and going hard at it, a huge flurry. Flatt is just all over Carroll, and they're going to separate him again. It's another standing 8 count. And the official says, go ahead. 10 seconds remaining in the round. Connecting one to the chin, and that is the end of the round, but that was one that clearly was in the favor. There's no question that that was in the favor of Aiden Flatt. He was just all over his opponent from the get-go. And these guys, they do this after school and on weekends, not every single day, but they're there in their local boxing centers, and they attempt to try to sharpen their skills, and they have sparring partners just as though, you were taking on an opponent. But it's this constant competition that they have with these things like Hub City Fight Night and the others that they go on their circuit to participate in that really make them sharper fighters. All right, let's see if you see the same strategy being employed by Aiden Flatt. He was just all over Carroll in the first round. And it looks like they've tried to make an adjustment with a little bit more protectiveness with the gloves on the part of Carroll, but Carroll is not able to land any blows with authority, and it goes against the ropes once again. And he's going to separate him. That's another, and that's it. He's going to wipe it out. That would have been the third standing 8 count, and that is it. It is a referee's decision, and your winner by, they don't technically call them in Golden Gloves a technical knockout, but your winner by referee's decision is Aiden Flatt. And that one went barely 32 seconds into the second round. And just a dominating performance by Flatt. I'm not surprised based on what I saw last night with his performance. He was just a whirlwind in the ring. And so he'll take the belt, and it'll be a plaque for Lavin Carroll. And this young guy, Aiden Flatt, he's going to be a guy to watch in the future as he matures and gets more and more experience because he was absolutely dominant, and he was last night in the fight that he had here at Ulman Arena. And the mere formality is having Lamont Ingram announce the winner, but it was by, when it gets to having a third standing 8 count, officials are not going to take any chance that a kid's going to get hurt. They are going to go ahead and make that call. And Aiden Flatt is your winner. And he'll take that championship. I'm going to tell you, that championship belt is so big, he's going to have to stretch it a lot to fit around his 128-pound waist. That's not going to be a whole lot for him to be able. I got to be honest with you. I think he's just going to have to display that. I don't believe they've got enough. I don't believe they have enough notches for him to be able to wear that belt. But our next bout is going to put together a couple of 142-pounders. And this is in the elite category. These are experienced fighters, so they will have 2-minute rounds. And I had the opportunity last night to see both of them. And, again, this could be a very evenly matched bout. And they will introduce them, but I'll tell you who they are. In the black, in the red corner, is Landon Wardlow. And he comes in, both of them, as I say, 142 pounds after the weigh-in this morning. And then Zachariah Lewis is in all blue, and he is over in the blue corner. Both of these guys had impressive performances last night. So they are pretty much what you might call midweights in this case. We don't have too many 200-pounders competing. The last 2 bouts that we have, you're going to see guys that'll be at the 200 and 220-pound level. And that's really, one of them is going to be a youth. They're not as experienced in a youth division. The other ones are the elites. They are the most experienced. And so Wardlow and Lewis both are in that category. They have a lot of mileage under them, and so they've been doing this a while. This is bout number 8. We're getting close to halfway home of our 17 bouts that we have for you on Worthy Road Studios. And Lamont Ingram is introducing the 2 of them. It is always great to see Rhonda Collins here. She is what you might call the fight mother. She was by the side of her husband, Rayford Collins, who just developed so many young boxers and made a difference in so many young lives in Jackson, Tennessee. Started an event like this 41 years ago in this very building, and Rhonda is still continuing on. She makes a lot of the awards that are presented. Hand makes a lot of them, and it's just an impressive thing to see what she does. And we're about set to go with round one. 2 minutes in each round of the three. Here comes Wardlow in the black. And he tries to lead quickly with a left. In fact, both guys measuring with the left. Lewis is very fast. Wardlow does a lot of dancing in the ring. Trying to go to the body, both of them. And they'll separate them. That one connected to the side of the jaw, but hanging on is Lewis. Wardlow has about a 3-inch height advantage. He's going to probably try to exploit that as best he possibly can. Good exchange between the two of them. Again, the first round is usually where you are measuring each other, although in that previous bout, Aiden Flatt, he didn't do a whole lot of measuring. He was clearly the aggressor. They go up against the ropes, and the official's going to separate them. And I'll remind you, I haven't said this in the last several bouts, if you hear a hammer hitting 3 times very loud, that means there's 10 seconds remaining in the round. That's a warning to the fighters as well as to the spectators. Good blows to the body by Lewis. Hearing a lot of enthusiasm over in Lewis's corner. Wardlow took one to the head. Now he's trying to box his way out of it. That's 10 seconds remaining in round one. There you go, one to there's a right by Wardlow, and so we are at the end of round one. A couple other fighters that we have coming up. One that I was very impressed with last night is a guy named Uriah Scales, and he's going to be in an 176-pound bout, and he's a tremendous one. And then you have, as I mentioned, you're going to have some young women who are going to be part of this, and I looked at down some of the matches that we have, and it's going to be round number 12. Our 12th bout is going to be that. We've got a couple of 68-pounders in on this, but the young people, the really, really young guys as part of this, they don't throw a lot of powerful punches, but it is the fact that they're in the ring and they're getting the kind of confidence-building experience. And if they stay with this, many of them become very, very successful fighters. Here's round two. And they get in a grasp, and so they'll separate. Wardlow takes a couple of glancing blows. Measuring with a left is Lewis. Wardlow tries to go in with a right and to the body. And again, that was a wild swinging left by Lewis. And one glancing off the right ear of Wardlow, and he tries to come back with a series of jabs. As I say, he will dance around tremendously around the ring. Ducks away from one. And they get separated again. And they're going to lock up and again be parted. Again, ducking away. up against the ropes, and a couple of blows to the body by Wardlow, and now Lewis tries to pin his opponent against the ropes. And Lewis is being encouraged to use his jab, and he went with a left jab, but retaliating with the body. And a good combination, both a left and a right, by both fighters, first by Wardlow and then by Lewis. Ten seconds remaining in round two. Wardlow tries to go to the face. And we are at the end of round two. One of the things I found interesting last night is that a lot of the fighters from the other clubs that are here, there's a lot of encouragement that comes from the other fighters that are from the same club, but seeing that a lot of them really scout their opponents if they're not going to be in competition any longer. They try to scout their opponents because when, let's just say they go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, or if they go over to Arkansas or down to Georgia, there is going to be a time that you may meet another opponent that was right here at Ullman Arena. And so they do a lot of intense scouting as well as encouraging their own fellow team members. And here we go. We're 10 seconds away from the start of round three. And both of these guys will be doing everything they can to impress the judges in this third and final round. Wardlow goes right in with a left. Both measuring with left jabs that did not connect. Going to the body was Lewis, and ducking away from it on the second one was Wardlow. Again, Wardlow is in the black trunks, in the black top, and in the white and blue is Lewis. Good exchange to the body by Lewis. He's getting some good body blows in. And they're going to separate him. And let's see what the official says. Is this a warning of some kind? He gave him a warning. I can't say that I know precisely what that was about, but he made sure that they went to separate corners. Wardlow again trying to go with a left jab. And both they're having a strong combination here right in front of our vantage point. Lewis missed with one, and trying to connect himself is Wardlow, and they'll separate them. Now, trying to go in with a left jab again. And following with a right. Good body blows by Lewis. And the two of them hang on. We're getting close to the end of this bout. And there you go. And the two are going to touch gloves and go over in great sportsmanship to the coaches of the other fighter. These guys have a great amount of respect for each other, and I think they've largely seen each other before. I don't know if they've met in the ring previously. And for those of you who have never been to Ullman Arena here in Jackson, Tennessee, it's one of the older show places. It started in 1968. It's a 53-year-old building. And this is one of the few venues left for this kind of thing that boxing can be done with a two-ring capability like this. And so we're about to find out from Lamont Ingram who the winner is of this bout that had a lot of physicality to it. And here comes Lamont to get the judge's decision. They're looking at the tabulation over across the way. And let's hear from Lamont. And give it to Zachariah Lewis. And he just had a lot more intensity with his punches, and particularly in the second half of round 2 and round 3, he was much more of the aggressor in that fight. So we're going to move right into the next one, and this one is going to be a couple of elite boxers again, a couple of 145-pounders. And so there's not a great deal of difference in the weight of what you just saw and what you're about to see. One of them is going to be from the Hattiesburg Boxing Club, and that is Prescott Walker. I saw him last night. Very impressive young fighter. And then I'm looking back in my other direction here, and our other fighter is Todd Rodell, and I happened to catch him close up here in ring 1 that we're at. This is going to be our 9th fight, so after this we're more than halfway home here on Worthy Road Studios, where I'm very proud to be part of the broadcast team of so many events here, including Hub City Fight Night. It's just a joy to be with all of you, and particularly with what we have upcoming Tuesday night of this week. We'll have volleyball again on Worthy Road Studios and on the Union University streaming site, and that is going to be one of the, we've got 3 more volleyball games to do this season, and then basketball right around the corner to get started, and it's going to be a full season. Of course, Union University's women always a national contender in Division II. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you during basketball and volleyball season, what remains of volleyball, and also basketball. Now we're about set to go. In the green is going to be Prescott Walker, and then Todd Rodell is going to be in all blue. Walker is another one of these from the Hattiesburg Boxing Club. And here we go. The official is getting loosened up. Got to meet a number of these officials, sat in on their meeting yesterday, and again to understand how seriously they take their role in seeing that these fighters are protected and that none of them go beyond what their physical limits are, and if they are injured or if they get into a situation where the official just believes they cannot go or should not go any further, it's much better to take a loss than to take some kind of serious injury. And whereas we had only 3 bouts yesterday that were stopped early, and we've had 1 in this ring today, you can always tell the officials are paying close attention because the most important thing is the health of these young men, and as we say, we have some females who are going to be boxing. It's Walker and Rodell, and they're waiting on Lamont to get over here to introduce them. He's finding out a little bit about how tough my job was last night to jog back and between the two rings. It is an unusual situation, but that's one thing that they try to do to get more fighters, to get more to come to an event like this so that they can literally cycle them through in and out as quickly as they possibly can. But Lamont is finding out somewhat about the ring announcer's job is not one where you stand still very often. Now, last night we did have an intermission, but I don't know if that's going to be after this bout or not. Anyway, they're still waiting on Lamont. Here comes Lamont to introduce them. Todd Rodell in the blue corner, and in all green in the red corner, that's Prescott Walker. 145 pounders, I should say. I don't want you to get the idea that these guys are 245 pounds. You wouldn't believe that if I told you. Now you can take a look at them. About evenly matched in height. A little bit stockier is Prescott Walker. Here we go, round one. And very quick to the body is Walker. He is the aggressor right off the top, and trying to play defense is Rodell. And ducking very quickly, but very, very strong with the punches right off the bat. These will be 2-minute rounds because these are both in the elite category as far as their experience. The official separates them. Goes in for the body once again. And trying to lead with a left is Rodell. Back up against the ropes. The official breaks them apart once again. A little more than a minute into this first round. Measuring with a left is Walker. Rodell's going to be pushed back against the ropes once again. And they have a big flurry right just to the left of where I'm seated. Trying to go in with the left and ducking out of the way was Walker. I can hear encouragement being offered over from the corner of Walker, and that is not the end of the round. That again is that buzzer is from the other round. We got 10 seconds to go in this round. You hear that buzzer, that's in the ring 2 bouts, and that is the end of the first round. Now, your big question at the end of that round is whether or not the aggressiveness of Walker, who's in the green, is regarded with, did that make as much of an impression on the judges as did Todd Rodell, who was more measuring his punches. And as you can see, all of these kids have a different style when they're in the ring, and some of them are really, really fast, and they want to go in aggressively, start throwing a flurry and a barrage of punches, and it is difficult to deal with that to start with. But the big question is if the fighter who's placed on defense, is he able to dodge away from that? As we say, it's not necessarily the number of punches you throw, it is how effective and how many you connect with. Walker again tries to lead with a left and right. Rodell, he comes in with a left jab, but most of these have been glancing blows by both of these guys. And again, Rodell, they got into a headlock here. It looks like a front face lock as well. And that goes down to the deck. That is a slip. When the official waves his arms like that, that means it's a slip. It's not from the effect of a punch. Rodell is getting a little bit more aggressive, and he leads with a left. This Hattiesburg Boxing Club has developed a number of class young men in the ring. And again, going to the body is Walker, and Rodell trying to punch his way out from the head. They're shaking the entire ring ropes. Takes a lot of just perseverance to be able to get both of these rings set up for this competition. There's just so many things. 10 seconds remaining in round 2. So many things that people don't really realize go into making this event successful. And so they go to round 2, and then we're going to be right back with round 3 in just a moment. But a reminder once again that the entire Hub City Fight Night is brought to you on both BallGame Blitz and Worthy Road Studios on Facebook Live here from Moment Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. Worthy Road Studios is your sponsor for this entire event. And remember, for the best in sports, event production, and church services all throughout our community, Worthy Road Studios is your first stop and your one stop for the very best in television production. And I've been very proud to be associated with this production company for a number of years now, and just fine people to work with and a great crew. And we're about set to go with round number 3. From our vantage point, it seems like this is a pretty evenly matched bout, but then again, the judges are looking from different eyes than we are as far as the specific things they're looking at that will make a guy either win or lose this particular bout. There you go. There's a hard one to the left and a retaliation on the part of, I tell you what, Walker was really going in with some body punches. Rodell has about a 2 to 3 inch height advantage, and he needs to exploit that. And going low and ducking away out of it was Walker. And we've called timeout. One of the fighters has... Okay. I think one of the fighters had to have a mouthpiece adjustment. That's the first time I've seen that happen, and Lamont Ingram came up and called timeout in the bout. Put him in the neutral corner. It's going to be a standing 8 count for Walker. Rodell connected with a nice right. Let's see if Rodell can capitalize on that. He goes in again, leading with the left. And again, pounding away on the right. And they separate them again. That was a nice left on the part of Rodell. 10 seconds remaining in the bout. It's certainly been Rodell that's been the more impressive one here in this 3rd round, and that is it. The question is, was that enough? We'll find out in just a moment as the judges have turned in their ballots, and we will see what the tabulations tell us. And as I've reminded you several times during the course of the evening, it is a compilation of all 3 rounds, not just what you see at the very end. And what happens is it is what is called a 10-point must system. The winner of the round gets 10 points in each round that they win. And then the question is, by how much do the judges believe that that person has won by the round? So it could be a 10-9 or a 10-8. It's usually not much more than that, because if there's that much of a difference, generally the bout might be stopped. So it's usually going to be a 10-9 or a 10-8. And let's see what we hear from Lamont Ingram. We're about to find out who the winner is. Unanimous decision. And it is, in fact, Todd Rodell. He had a very impressive third round and the latter part of the second round, and Rodell comes away with the belt, and the plaque goes to Prescott Walker. And there you have it. We are now 9 bouts done. And our next couple of them are going to be also in the elite category. And I had a chance to see both of these next fighters coming up. You're going to be seeing a young man, Yaniah Scales, against Joshua Tate. And both of them are very, very strong punchers. But it was a solid bout that each of them had on Friday night here, trying to get into the championship round. And then we have, after these next two that are elites, we're going to go back into the bantam area where we got 2 in a row of that, where they're both 1-minute rounds in each of those. So those will go by very, very fast. And then we'll have a couple of elite rounds, and we'll have a combination of youth fighters and intermediates. And the intermediates are going to be the young ladies. Olivia Reeves going up against Madison Hicks. And I saw Madison last night, and she took no prisoners whatsoever. It was a very solid performance for her all the way across the board. But this is an event that I did this for the first time 2 years ago, actually 18 months ago, when we were at Ullman Arena, pardon me, we were at the National Guard Armory here in Jackson, Tennessee. And it was one of those things that, to be honest with you, I had never called boxing before, even though I'd been a fan of it. And it was really a solid evening that we had there. And then to bring it back here to Ullman Arena this year, which is, again, a place that 41 years ago, Rayford Collins had in mind this kind of event that could bring together young people from all over the Southeast to participate in this. And, of course, his widow is here with us tonight, and Rhonda is, I mean, she's still in the persona of the Collins family. Just really, we just think the world of her, and everything that she does, that a lot of times she does things that people don't even know about to try to help these events become successful. But and then, as I mentioned, Lamont Ingram, he has taken up where Rayford Collins left off. He's the head coach of a lot of these local fighters, and then he goes all over the Southeast as a judge and official to different competitions. Every time I check him out on Facebook, it looks as though Lamont is going somewhere else. In fact, I think it was Wednesday of this week, he was out of town somewhere and then came back to try to get a lot of this coordinated on Thursday. And, I mean, he was still doing a lot of stuff Friday until we got into the actual bouts close to 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. But we're in a very brief intermission period here for you. And so while we do that, let me take about a 3 or 4 minute break, and then we'll be back with the remainder of our bout. So everybody, go to the refrigerator, take yourself a refreshment break, and then come back and join us for the other bouts.
Worthy Road Studios. Worthy Road Studios is a full-service television and live streaming service that can provide live broadcast coverage outside of normal studios. We own all the equipment needed to produce live events. We are a road studio, meaning all equipment is portable. We can work out of small, unusual spaces not designed for broadcasting while still delivering a TV quality product. We use wireless communication systems and have invested in high-definition wireless video transmission. Worthy Road Studios has been producing local television for over 10 years. We work with different media organizations producing live high school sports, as well as Union University basketball and volleyball. We use multiple cameras, on-screen graphics, live scoreboards, and live picture-in-picture. We can do slow-motion instant replay with a telestrator. We can have referees mic'd and use sideline reporters with wireless microphones and cameras. Contact Worthy Road Studios by Facebook, YouTube, or call us at 731-499-1730. We would like to help you with your live event by streaming it to your Facebook page or to YouTube, all live. Worthy Road Studios. Worthy Road Studios is a full-service television and live streaming service that can provide live broadcast coverage outside of normal studios. We own all the equipment needed to produce live events. We are a road studio, meaning all equipment is portable. We can work out of small, unusual spaces not designed for broadcasting while still delivering a TV quality product. We use wireless communication systems and have invested in high-definition wireless video transmission. Worthy Road Studios has been producing local television for over 10 years. We work with different media organizations producing live high school sports, as well as Union University basketball and volleyball. We use multiple cameras, on-screen graphics, live scoreboards, and live picture-in-picture. We can do slow-motion instant replay with a telestrator. We can have referees mic'd and use sideline reporters with wireless microphones and cameras. Contact Worthy Road Studios by Facebook, YouTube, or call us at 731-499-1730. We would like to help you with your live event by streaming it to your Facebook page or to YouTube, all live.
Well, the music is picking up back here at Ulman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee, as we are winding up intermission. And after we got through a little bit more than half of our 17 bouts that we have for you here on BallGame Blitz, I should say. Sometimes when I think about BallGame Blitz, I think about that great food, Ballpark Franks. That's some of the things that we always enjoy when we're here at a place like Ulman Arena. But this has been a fun place this weekend because I've had an opportunity to meet some people I have not met before, including a lot of these men and women who come here, and we do have women judges and women referees, and the women are not just officiating these different types of they're not just officiating the matches with girls in them. They have officiated the boys matches. They're timekeepers, they're judges, and they've done a terrific job here this week. And so that, I think that's one of the great notes that we add to all of this, is that we have women participating in this event. And right now also behind me we have Rhonda Collins, who is the widow of the late great, and I know that is often used as a cliche, but Rayford Collins was indeed a West Tennessee treasure for what he did for so many years with the Jackson Boxing Club, and made a difference in the lives, not just teaching them the skill of boxing and the sweet science, but also making a difference in so many of those young lives who came through his boxing school and touched their lives from a personal basis as well as an athletic basis. And so he is here with all of us. And tonight we also want to send a very, very important condolence to our own Mayor, Scott Conger, who was supposed to be here tonight to be a part of this event, and they were going to give him an award, and unfortunately we found out before this event started this afternoon that he lost his brother-in-law. And certainly our condolences go to the Conger family and all of those who certainly are grieving at this loss. Tonight, as we continue on with this, we've got 8 more bouts to go, and some of them will be some of the less experienced ones. When we get to bouts 12 and 13, as I mentioned, we've been through 9. We get to bouts 12 and 13. That's where we're going to have some of the lesser experienced kids who are just really beginning to learn the ropes with this. So they'll go in 1-minute rounds, and then when we get to the intermediates, which will be bout 15, and that'll be the girls, Olivia Reeves against Madison Hicks. Those will be 1.5-minute rounds. So the one thing that I've really enjoyed is learning so much about the different categories of how the boxers are matched up with each other. It's not just in weight classifications, but it is also in level of experience. What they try to do is to avoid have somebody who's maybe had 4 or 5 years of experience going up against somebody who's a rookie. And that makes it a lot more fair, and it also keeps from having somebody to get discouraged very, very early, having to go down against somebody who is an extraordinary, because this is not professional boxing. It's a totally different animal when you talk about the guys that are competing with all of the sanctioning bodies of pro boxing. These are young people who, most of them probably will not go into any type of professional career. They will, the difference for them a lot of times is, do they go on and compete at a regional or national level? And so that's one of the big things that you have when it comes to this kind of competition. But it's been a great privilege for me to get a chance to meet a lot of these officials and coaches who have come here from all over the Southeast to be a part of this. And I'm very proud that we have this here in Jackson, Tennessee, and that these young people have an opportunity to do something that it builds self-confidence, but also it builds sportsmanship. And if you've noticed, in virtually every bout that we have had, when it's over with, not only do the boxers touch gloves and they'll engage in a hug, but they will also go over and congratulate the coaches for their opponent. And, you know, you don't see that in all measures of athletic competition, and I think that is one of the solid things that I see great sportsmanship all over the house, and a lot of these people that are here, they've made friendships because they have been in a lot of these competitions all over the Southeast. And, of course, it's all over the country, Golden Gloves boxing. But just to know that we have an event of this import here in Jackson, Tennessee, and that these young people are here. And here's something that you got to understand as well. This puts money into the economy of Jackson and Madison County, because the people who have been here for these 2 days, and many of them are staying, they came in on Friday. They were here Friday night, and because this is going to go on until this evening, most of them are going to be staying here tonight. So you look at the number of competitors, their families, their coaches. This puts money into our hospitality coffers here in Jackson and Madison County. That was one of the great things about the NAIA Women's National Championship basketball tournament that was here for 22 years. You could always count that for that 9 days in March, there were going to be hotel rooms that were full across this community. Now, it didn't fill every single one of them, but the hotel rooms, because you had the entourages that would come in with the teams that sometimes would measure anywhere from 25 to 40 people. And then you would have family members who would come, and they would follow their children here to play in this tournament. Well, the same thing is happening right here with Hub City Fight Night, because you have so many competitors, as we mentioned, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, you've got them from Georgia, you've got them from Alabama who have been here, all over the place. And because of that, Arkansas, because of that, they're putting money into our economy here locally. And so that's one of the unsung factors about something like Hub City Fight Night. It is an economic boom to our community because of the volume of people. And granted, Oman Arena is far from full, but these, let's say, I'm just going to give you an estimate of about 300 to 400 people who are not from Jackson, Tennessee, who are here. Well, they're staying nights in our hotels. They are putting money into our restaurants. And that money turns over several times and has a big factor in the economic impact of our community. So that is why events like this are so important, not just for the athletic competition, but also because it actually puts bucks into Jackson, Tennessee. And that is huge. And so Lamont Ingram, and before him, Rayford Collins, and, of course, Rhonda Collins, they deserve a huge tip of the cap for all they've been doing. Coach Joe Holloway, as we mentioned, is calling bouts over in our other ring. Coach Joe is one of my longtime friends, and you are about to see him pop up. There he is right there. He's one of my longtime friends. He has been a teacher and a coach both at the high school and college level here in Jackson, Tennessee. He played basketball at Union University back in the 60s. And so he was he's really been somebody who is I really have relied on him in so many ways. And excuse me, this is live television, and somehow a sneeze, which doesn't happen very often, just caught me. And so that's the way that's the way life goes. I don't mind telling you when it happens, because have you ever thought about this? You rarely ever see or hear somebody sneeze if they're doing a newscast or a sportscast or anything of that nature, but it just happened. I pulled off my headphones to try to be defensive about it. But hey, when you're live and you're my age, what does it matter? But Coach Joe, as I was talking about, Coach Joe Holloway was just really, I think, I relied on him so much because he is a sports historian as well as someone who has actually played and coached the various games. He's a sports historian, and so I relied on him when I came to Jackson 31 years ago, and then when I began doing Union University basketball on television back in 1993. I relied on him immensely to bring me up to snuff on the history of Union, and at that time Lambeth basketball, the rivalry. You had schools that have now gone on to Division I, such as Lipscomb and Belmont, that Union played on a regular basis, and had a very strong record of victory against those two schools. But I had Coach Joe was just such a fount of information because his memory is just extraordinary in specifics about certain games and certain battles between opponents. It was really, really a huge help to me, and I'm thrilled that he's here calling the bouts in the other ring on Worthy Road Studios, and we're glad to have you aboard tonight here on BallGame Blitz. And one other thing that I'll tell you about Worthy Road Studios, you talk about covering high school football in multiple venues. I'm telling you, multiple venues on Friday nights all across this region, they're there. And it's amazing to me to know how much they are able to expand their resources all throughout that area. And Paul Schultze is our executive producer and the CEO of Worthy Road Studios. I can tell you, it's amazing because, as I mentioned, Tuesday night, he'll be producing for me again as I call Union University volleyball. And then we'll be shifting gears into basketball next weekend after another Friday night of football. We're getting close to playoff time, though, and so for the most part, those kind of games, because they are a little bit more costly because the State High School Association demands a certain amount of payment to do those games. Don't do as many of those when it gets to playoff time. But it's a lot of fun to work with this crew and the people that Paul has, because they are great professionals and they do so many things that, let's just face it, there are a lot of communities our size and regions our size that don't have these kinds of resources available to them. And we're very blessed to have Worthy Road Studios as part of the West Tennessee area to bring you high school football. Paul has crews that do church services on Sunday mornings. And then, as I mentioned, the huge variety of sports that is covered by Worthy Road Studios all throughout West Tennessee. It's astounding, but they do both high school and college sports, and it has been an amazing thing to be a part of this production company. And I hope you will, in particular, say thank you to them when you see them at any of our venues, because they bring you the opportunity to see them that many others would not have a chance to do. I'm beginning to hear, I think, and I'm telling Paul, who's seated right next to me, I think we're getting to the point that we may be close to resuming. And we do that, and it's and I'm looking here, and I think it's somewhere around about 6:40. I did check my phone long enough to find out that Georgia rolled all over Florida 34-7 to stay number one. And I know for you folks who love UT, you should. But this is my school that I graduated from back in 1976, and I am absolutely thrilled that this year they're the number one team in the country, but they got to take on Tennessee, and I'm going to tell you, I'm scared to death of that game because of the fact that with the offense that Tennessee has been showing of late, you never know. Even though Georgia has one of the most amazing defenses I have ever seen, Tennessee could be the trap game for the Bulldogs. So let's just say this, I am judiciously looking forward to that one, but it would not surprise me if Tennessee didn't pull an upset in that because of the fact that they have just gotten better and better with each game this season, have the Vols. And so as we approach the late season, that should be most interesting. And you see right here across the arena, I'm looking over here over to my left, and I'm seeing some of these guys that are just doing a little practicing with their coaches. And it's interesting to watch that, and Paul's shifting over to pick that up. And we got a coach, they're from Music City Boxing over in Nashville, and they're doing a little bit of sparring, if you will. And this is really helpful for them to do this. It not just to get them to practice this, but it also keeps them mentally focused. It's just a huge thing for them to stay mentally focused on the bout that they're going to have. And that's true in any form of sports, but particularly here, it gets them away from the distractions that they might have when it comes to, let's just say if you're in an intermission like this and you maybe have the next bout, you want to stay focused on what your task is at hand. And so it's always, I've seen a lot of this going on during the course of our two-day event here of Hub City Fight Night. I think we should have called it Hub City Fight Nights because that's exactly what it has been here in Jackson, Tennessee. When we finally see Lamont Ingram re-enter the building, I think that will be our cue that we're going to be back and ready to do this. But tell you what, Paul, why don't we take another at least a 90-second break, and we'll be back to continue with our preliminaries before we start the second half of tonight's bouts at Hub City Fight Night live from Jackson, Tennessee.
Worthy Road Studios. Worthy Road Studios is a full-service television and live streaming service that can provide live broadcast coverage outside of normal studios. We own all the equipment needed to produce live events. We are a road studio, meaning all equipment is portable. We can work out of small, unusual spaces not designed for broadcasting while still delivering a TV quality product. We use wireless communication systems and have invested in high-definition wireless video transmission. Worthy Road Studios has been producing local television for over 10 years. We work with different media organizations producing live high school sports, as well as Union University basketball and volleyball. We use multiple cameras, on-screen graphics, live scoreboards, and live picture-in-picture. We can do slow-motion instant replay with a telestrator. We can have referees mic'd and use sideline reporters with wireless microphones and cameras. Contact Worthy Road Studios by Facebook, YouTube, or call us at 731-499-1730. We would like to help you with your live event by streaming it to your Facebook page or to YouTube, all live.
And back we are at a much louder Oman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee. I've slipped up and called it Hub City Fright Night, and of course tomorrow being Halloween, there are a lot of specials on television that are being called Fright Night. You know, Lamont Mike could have capitalized on that somewhat, but I think we are getting very close because there's some boxers that are right around ringside that I think they're ready to go. They don't want to wait any longer, and we have changed referees. And I saw Lamont just pass in our direction, so I think we are about set to go. And this bout is going to be an elite bout, which means 2-minute rounds, and each of these fighters come in at 176 pounds. And in the red corner, and he's going to be in all black. In fact, this is going to be hard to distinguish because both of these guys are in all black. But in the red corner, it is Yaniah Scales. I had a chance to watch him last night. And over in the blue corner, it's Joshua Tate. Tate is very, very fast, and Scales is a tremendous puncher. So once again, you look at a combination by this, and on paper, it looks like an evenly matched bout. Joshua Tate introduced, and he's got a big rooting section behind us. Two-minute rounds. And if you're just joining us, you have 3 rounds in each of the Golden Gloves boxing bouts. A couple of attempts to go with a left and a right for Scales. Now going to the body hard is Tate. His coach is telling him to duck. And going to the body once again is Tate. Tate again connecting with the body. And if you're hearing that in the background, they're announcing the fighters in ring number 2. Couple of swings and misses by Tate. Tell you, both of these fighters are just very, very well built. Scales ducks away again. And Tate, they're going to wrap up against the ropes. Going for the body once again. And again, both of them measuring each other. Oh, there's one, goes to the nose. Nice quick left on the part of Tate. Scales goes for the body. And you may be hearing the coach of Tate saying, keep those hands up, and that is the end of round 1. So each of them going pretty much to their own strength in round number 1. And again, particularly after the first round, what these coaches are doing is trying to evaluate, okay, can we make an adjustment in round 2 and do something that can help you maybe land your punches better or maybe duck away from some of the ones that are being thrown. And so round 2 is really an adjustment round. The third round, when you get to that point, it's just largely, okay, you're on your own, but just get out there and give it the best you have with what your largest strength is. And that's what they largely do when they get to round 3. 10 seconds to go before we will start round 2. Here we go. Scales tries to go in with a left early on. And got a little more wrestling than we have actually boxing. Both measuring for jabs. Neither of them have connected. There goes one to the with a left for Tate. And they both try to go in with the body. He tried to go in with a right cross, but just didn't have much authority on that punch. He's telling Tate to keep his hands up. Tate tries to go into the body. He's being blocked by Scales. Tate ducks one. Again, not a lot of connectivity in this round with the punches. There goes one. Scales connects with one right just below the nose. And again, both fighters boring in very close to each other. There goes a hard body punch by Scales, and he goes again to the body. Tate backs off. He's going to push back against the ropes. Referee admonishing Tate in that particular exchange. That's the end of round 2. This one has gone by very, very fast, but it's again going to be interesting what the judges see out of each one of these guys, because there has not been, at least to the observer's eye, there's not been necessarily something that takes the measure and seemingly gives one of these guys a bigger advantage than the other. And so that's what we're going to be taking a look at in round 3. Okay, who can capitalize the most and use his strength to his best avail as they attempt to try to impress the judges in this third and final round. And we've had split decisions as well as unanimous decisions all across the board during the course of our bouts today, and this is our 10th of 17 that we are having on BallGame Blitz. And they're putting the Gatorade inside of Tate, and he's got a big rooting section behind us that is trying to give him some energy. Scales, his job is just basically to tune that out. Scales with a feint and connects with a left, and he's going in with a body. Goes in again with a couple of other exchanges to the body. And they go up against the turnbuckle. And they're pretty well locked up, and the official has not separated them. Tate saying, and his coaches are telling, move with your hips. And he's trying to get to, a left to the chin. And again, this round has not been what you would call an extraordinarily impressive round for either fighter. Again, both of them missed, trying to go in with rights. And again, a headlock. They'll separate them. There's a flurry as we're getting close to the end of round 3. And there he goes. Tate's got him in the corner, got him backed up. But Scales manages to hang on. That was probably one of the more aggressive flurries. 10 seconds to go in the round. Let's see what both of these guys try to do. There goes a right to the ear. Another right to the chin by Tate. And that is the end of the bout. So it was a good finish for both Uriah Scales and Joshua Tate, but we'll see whether or not his rooting section is happy or whether or not they're going to leave the arena quite disappointed on this. And we'll get our decision from the judges momentarily as they are being tabulated now at this moment. And as I say, you can always see some great sportsmanship between these two guys, as you see with all of these fighters here. And they're, as we say, the winner comes away with the big orange belt, and the runner-up takes home a plaque. So everybody comes away with something. Let's take a look at what the tabulations are going to be, and we'll find out right along with you. And there is some serious discussion going on here. It's one of the longer discussions over a tabulation that I have seen. And they're down in on the edge of ringside, directly across from us. Here we go. And your winner is Unias Scales. Apparently Tate was not able to do enough to overcome it. So Unias Scales is your winner, and he takes home the belt. And that's bout number 10. And coming right up, we got two guys that are a little bit smaller, but they are still in the elite classification. We got a couple of 165-pounders that are going to be joining us next. And we'll be seeing Lance Holloway going against Alan Abu. And I did not see Alan last night, but I saw Lance. And again, just to get to Saturday night after they have been competing on Friday, it is very, very, you know, you got to take your hats off to these guys after they fought a 3-rounder last night to come back in and have to go another one tonight. So we have got that, and then after the Holloway and Abu bout, we're going to have two, if you will, novices. We're going to be going back to the 1-minute rounds with our smaller competitors that are going in the weight category of the 60s. And thanks anyway, Lamont, for bringing me some water there. I already had a bottle right here. But you got two categories, and those bouts, the rounds are 1 minute each. So we got another one where each round is 2 minutes. Now in the blue corner, and he's wearing the green shoes, the neon green shoes, that is going to be Alan Abu. And then coming into the red corner will be Lance Holloway. We have not seen Lance enter the arena yet. They are calling him to the ring, and here he comes. It took a little while for him as they play "We Will Rock You" in the background. I'm trying to remember if that song is 40 years old yet. I may be just short of it. But it became the national anthem for champions along with "We Are the Champions." I hadn't heard that played here this weekend. Of course, I also and if you're hearing the loud mic in the background, that is the announcement of the competitors over at Joe Holloway's ring in Ring 2 that people are seeing live at the Worthy Road Studios Facebook site. We're glad to have you with us on BallGame Blitz, and particularly if we got family members or parents that could not attend Hub City Fight Night, we're glad to have you aboard here because it's been fun to watch these young boxers all throughout this weekend. So here we go. Holloway has now made his way to the ring. Bout number 11 of our 17 that we have for you that started way back about 4:30 this afternoon. Now, Holloway is decked out in black and red, and Abu is in his corner colors of blue. Holloway being introduced, and now here comes Abu. Referee giving the instructions, and we're about set to go. Again, 3 2-minute rounds. There is a discussion going on to the left of us right here, and I think that's why they're holding up, ringing the bell. Now we go. A height advantage definitely for Abu, but Holloway is very intense. He will bore right in on his opponent. And I'm hearing instructions for the right hand on Abu to use it to his best strength. Both of these fighters are really measuring each other out. They come in at 165 pounds each. And again, a lot of feint. And this one is, you don't see a lot of dancing around in this one. This is one where both of these fighters, I don't want to say they're flat-footed, but that's about what we are seeing here in this first round. In fact, their attempt to lead with a right for Abu. Holloway trying to be a little more defensive at this stage of the game, trying to figure out what his opponent is going to bring to him. Boy, these rings have taken a pounding during the course of these 2 days. Not as much so as you would if this was a professional wrestling event, but 30 seconds remaining in the first round. And again, this has been one that you haven't seen just a big flurry of activity. Abu trying to connect with a left. A lot of these are not really landing very well at all for either fighter, and that's the end of round one. So that was a rather interesting confrontation in round one because we didn't see one of those big flurries that we often do, and instead it was more of a measuring of their opponents. We just did not see that big, and we didn't see that big glancing blow that usually happens when we get about halfway through that round. Not a lot. Most of the action stayed right around the center of the ring. After this one, we are going into our bantam category, which that is the very, very beginners, the beginners, and that's Aiden Brock is going against Anthony Hall. And you got to see a couple of 68-pounders in the ring. That should be most interesting. They're guys that are just learning the ropes, but they hope one of these days to be at the level of these guys right here, about 100 pounds heavier and being able to take on some more difficult challengers. Round two, and starting to lead with the left a little bit more is Holloway, but none of them are landing very well. And trying to lead with the left as well is Abu. Abu's doing a little bit more bobbing and weaving in this round than we did. As we said, it was more of a flat-footed round in the first one. And again, sort of a bluff and feint on the part of both fighters. Trying to go in with the left, but not connecting very well. That one missed. Abu is not going, neither of these fighters are really going in for the body very much. Both of them are aiming for the head area. That was one of the better connections over the ear by Holloway. But again, not a lot of huge activity between these two fighters. This has been more of a defensive fight than probably we've seen all day. Abu tried to go in with the left of the body, and that again was short. 30 seconds remaining in the round. Trying to go in the left. There's a connection. That was a nice right by Holloway. And Holloway decks out from a right hand by Abu. 10 seconds remaining in the first round between these two guys. Second round, pardon me. It's been a long evening. And that is the end of round 2. So again, this has not been one of those where you just absolutely see that flurry that makes a huge difference in the bout, because it seems like both of these guys are trying to measure each other. Now, I'm going to be interested to see whether or not there's a distinctively different change of style by either or both of them in this third round, in the hopes that they can impress the judges as the thoughts of last impression or the blows of last impression are traded in this. But you've not seen either one of them try to go to the ropes of the turnbuckle by any stretch of the imagination. And that's Holloway trying to get his last-minute instructions from his coach over in the red corner. 10 seconds away from the start of round number 3. And here we go. Here's our last 2 minutes to see who's going to take home the championship belt in this one. That's a bigger flurry than we've seen in either of the 2 rounds. Both of them moving with a lot more lightning speed. Trying to go in with a left. There you go. Connecting with one is Abu, but missed with a right. Both guys missing. And a bit of a slip by Holloway. Yeah, that was not as a result of a punch. The official says keep right on. Holloway trying to protect the face. Don't see nearly as much glove protection from Abu. He's just looking for that opening, hoping to reach in if Holloway does not have his face protected. Trying to go for the body. That one fell short. Holloway looking for an opening. Instead, it's Abu who goes with 2 lefts. And he ducks out of the way of a left by Holloway. 30 seconds remaining in this bout. Abu tries to reach with a left. Goes for the body. And they both go at it. Here they go, up against the turnbuckle. And this is a huge flurry. Trying to punch his way out of it is Abu. They're going to break him up. There's not going to be a whole lot of time left in this one. There they go again. This is a big combination of lefts and rights, and that is the bout. So we'll take a look and see exactly what happens here between these two guys as they will tabulate the cards. The third round was the one, as we mentioned, it was going to be interesting if there was a different style and strategy, and we got about a minute into round 3, and all of a sudden the two guys finally, rather than doing a lot of measuring each other, they went in for combinations and flurries. And so we'll see who the judges felt like came out on the upper end of that. So we go back up to the ring and we'll find out who the winner is. And I think they got the tabulations just about done. Here goes the belts. The tally is being done. And the winner is Alan Abu. And it appeared particularly in that third round that Abu was connecting with more punches. And whereas he didn't engage in a lot of flurries in the first 2 rounds, it appeared that he had the edge close to the end of that third round. And so he is your winner and takes home the belt And now we're getting ready to see some of the smaller ones. And again, this is the Bantam division upcoming. This will be a fast-moving bout because it is only going to be 1-minute rounds that we have. And it is Aiden Brock going against Anthony Hall. I saw them both last night, and both of these kids have a lot of talent. It's a different style seeing a smaller kid get in the ring and put on the helmet and the gloves, but both of them bring a lot of energy and talent to the ring. And we remind you that your Hub City Fight Night event is being brought to you by Worthy Road Studios, the finest, and I mean that, the absolute finest in sports and event and church service production all throughout West Tennessee. When you look for a symbol of excellence, just look for Worthy Road Studios, and it will be, I guarantee you, something that you know is good. Behind us, we're hearing them call the winner of the bout that just finished in ring number 2. But for those of you who are watching in the Jackson area, we're going to be starting up basketball very soon. Of course, this has been almost football season for high school has gone by like a blur to get to the playoffs. It has just gone by extremely fast. But we'll be with you on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock at Fred DeLay Gymnasium at Union University for another Gulf South Conference matchup. And these Lady Bulldogs have done a tremendous job. They've been on the road this weekend in what's called a South Region Crossover Classic at Winter Haven, Florida, but they'll be coming home for a single game on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and we'll have it for you right here on Worthy Road Studios as well as on the Union University Athletic Department website. So we'll have that for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, here you go. These are the little ones right here that are just, they're fabulous to watch because they're so fast. But I love the way they get in the ring, and each one of them have to do their stomp at each corner. And this is going to be in the red corner, Aiden Brock. He's going to be in all black and white. And then in the blue corner, Anthony Hall, who is in black and red. And he'll have the blue gloves. Brock will have the red gloves. Our 12th bout of 17 here at Hub City Fight Night. And you got to think about all this for these young guys, no matter what age they are, but these young guys, it's a long time to have to wait from when this event started at 4:30 this afternoon before they had the opportunity to get in the ring. And so it's a case of, and what they basically stress, and the coaches have told me, is that they just stress the boxing fundamentals with these young kids because they don't want them to get in there and start trying things that absolutely just would be out of their league attempting to do, and plus anything that could bring on an injury. And they're waiting on the ring announcer to get back over here to introduce these guys. And here we go. Aiden Brock. Again, both these kids are 68 pounds. And here's Anthony Hall. Sounds like that Aiden's got a little bit bigger cheering section here in the arena. And we're set to go. Remember, 1-minute rounds. That's all it is a 1-minute round. But they are fun to watch because they just fly all over the ring. Here we go. And you see they both go right after each other. Trying to lead with a left into the body. And you see more of this when you got the younger guys. They'll just go at it because they're not as disciplined when it comes to being able to measure your guy a lot more, so they may just go in and just flail away. But they'll learn from each bout and the opportunities that they've had with this. And not all of these blows are landing. And they don't let the young guys stay in the ring that long because they don't want to risk any kind of injury at that age. So that's why they're only 60-second rounds. And they've slowed down a bit from the exchange they had right at the beginning. That's the end of round one. I watched about 4 of these yesterday, including ones with these two guys in it. And in watching them, it's again, and I talked to some of the coaches, and they told me that this is really, when you get them at this age, you got to convince the parents also that the coach is not going to do something to allow them to get in a serious injury situation. You got to win over the confidence of the parents as much as you do of the kids who are in the ring. So that is one of the big challenges that they have. But these two little guys were just absolutely spectacular in what we saw yesterday. And both of the coaches are giving them some instructions on how to make adjustments on what they did in the first round. All right, Brock comes out of the red corner, Hall out of the blue corner. Hall with the blue gloves and Brock with the red ones. And again, a more intensive exchange with both of them. They back off. You got to be able to show a lot, though, in a short amount of time when you're at this age because of the fact that you only have 1 minute to demonstrate. And again, trying to lead with a right. The blows did not connect, and trying to recover with a right is Brock. And Hall backs away a bit. Now Brock backing away, and that's the end. As I tell you, these things go extraordinarily fast when we're talking about the young ones. And we'll have another one that will be probably close to the smallest ones that we have in the competition immediately after this. They're 64-pounders. But this is bout number 12 out of the 17 that we have on our schedule. And so these are going to be going extremely fast. And you're looking over at particularly in trying to give, in this stage of the game, you're trying to give Brock as much confidence that in that third round, okay, you got 60 seconds left, just be calm and do the best you can with what your best strength is. And so what they really do, they try to keep these guys as calm as possible so they can unleash a lot more of it when they get into the ring for this final 60 seconds. And you can see there is a big cheering section going on behind him for Aiden Brock. And there you go. Big, intensive aggression on the part of Hall. Hall's all over it. Now Brock is trying to slow it up, because Hall can go in like a whirling dervish, and so what Brock wants to do is to try to keep this in a slower pace. Each one of them trying to get some blows into the head. They're not really going to the body that much. Less than 30 seconds remaining in the bout. You can hear the crowd's intense enthusiasm. There's some video cameras picking it up. 10 seconds remaining. And again, a couple of combinations by each one of the fighters, but it is It is actually Brock who was being forced away by Hall at the end, and so that was quick, but that's the way it is when you're in this bantam division. It's not, well, I guess you could technically say it's not bantam weight as they would say in the professional weight classes, but it definitely is as far as the area these guys are in. 68 pounds each one of them. And they're going to come over and have a little bit of sportsmanship here, and he goes over and congratulates the opposite coaches. So we await the tally as we determine who the champion is going to be of this one. But I love these kids when they go from corner to corner and do their stomp. And let's see if we've got the decision. And here we go. It is Anthony Hall. Anthony Hall is the winner. And he gets the belt, but look at this. He's giving his opponent the plaque. He goes over and does a fist pump with the opposing coach. And what we point out is that when they leave the ring, there's a doctor and another medical assistant that they are checking out both boxers to be sure that everything is okay. And that's exactly what you see them doing. It's over on the other end. They're going to do this with the other fighters as well. But they make sure before they leave that there is nothing untoward. Is there any kind of problem? Are they having issues concentrating? Are the eyes okay? They want to make sure that these kids are safe before they leave here. And so there are medical attendants that are here at ringside that are officially assigned to this event because it would not be licensed if they did not, particularly with USA Boxing, which is the preeminent sanctioning body of Golden Gloves boxing in the United States. So we got a kid from Nashville that is coming up. These are going to be 64-pounders. Again, these will be 1-minute rounds. You got a 64-pounder in Macklin Whiting. I saw him last night. I did not get to see the bout with the young man who is going to be in the blue corner, Zephaniah Avila. But they're getting ready for this. I do know that Whiting, he's one of these whirling dervish guys that he can just fly all over the ring. And we're getting set for the ring announcer to announce these two guys. And again, both of these are going to be easy to follow because not only are their gloves, but their outfits match the corner that they're in. So Whiting will be in red, and in blue with a little bit of white and black trim is Zephaniah Avila. And here we go with the announcements. And I think they're coming over to get a confirmation on how to pronounce his name. And he has some loud fans right behind us. So, again, Avila in the blue and Whiting in the red. I think we're about set to ring the bell and get this one underway. We only got 4 more left after this one. And here we go. Both try to trade lefts to start with. And the exchange, none of those blows are landing extraordinarily hard. And one to right that goes in for Whiting. And a nice little right by Avila. And you're hearing Avila's camp. They are really giving him a lot of energy and encouragement. Whiting circling to his right. Less than 30 seconds left in round one. That's it. Not a lot of connections with the punches that were thrown there. And again, in a 1 minute round, there's a limit as to how much you can actually accomplish. So in that first round, they both were doing a lot of circling and attempting to dodge certain punches, but you didn't have a lot of them that connected with a great deal of authority. But it's fun to watch these guys because they are really trying to follow what their coaches are trying to teach them as basic fundamentals when they're at this level, as opposed to some of these guys who are a lot more experienced and may take more chances with it. Now, that doesn't mean that when we get to round three, we're not going to see a big flurry toward the end, because I've seen some of them with these little guys, and they will just go at it like crazy. But as we've mentioned, this is a huge confidence builder for so many of these kids that compete. Here's round two. And trying to go right in with a left is Whiting. Avila tries to answer with a right. And again, both of them circling to their right. They're telling him to look for the body. We haven't seen the younger ones. We haven't seen them do a lot of body punching. That one's one to the chin for Whiting. And Avila dancing away. He tries to go in with a left. Neither one of them been tangled up in the ropes. There's a flurry for both of them. And that's it. Tell you what, 1 minute rounds go by very, very fast. You know, you think they're just beginning to get cranked up in their round, and all of a sudden the bell rings and it's over. But as we have said throughout the evening, but I'll remind those of you who may be just seeing this bout, you maybe have just joined us, this is one in which it's not just what happens at the end of the bout for the thought of last impression or the performance of last impression. It's a collective scoring system for all three rounds. It is what is called a 10-point must system, in which the winner of each round is given 10 points, and then it depends on how the judges, each individual judge, sees how much of a victory that they had in that round. Is it 10-9 or 10-8? You usually don't see it be below 10-8 very much. All right, final minute for these guys to have a chance to impress the judges. Going in for the body is Avila, and he's following what his coach has been telling him to do. You're going to probably see a lot more of a flurry. Trying to go in with a right was Whiting. Now Avila challenges to the body. And we got about 30 seconds left. And he goes in with a left to the chin. Avila's been a little bit more aggressive in this round. Whiting tries to answer with a right that fell short. 10 seconds remaining. Let's just see if this is a huge flurry here at the end. Almost to the end of it. That's it. Both these guys gave a really solid performance. So here we go. We'll wait on the tabulation to determine whether it is Whiting or Avila. But as I say, I've had a lot of fun watching these guys, particularly at this age, because they seem to just be in there for the sheer enjoyment of it, and that's one of the great things that Golden Gloves boxing is supposed to be, not just to be a winner or to be a champion, but to build self-confidence and also at the same time being able to enjoy it, enjoy the journey as you go along, because you are learning a lifelong skill of self-defense. So we're going to go back up into the ring momentarily and find out who's going to take this one home. Will it be Macklin Whiting or Zephaniah Avila? And you can see these guys are doing a lot of dancing around here even though the bout's over. That is not the announcement over in the other ring for this one. This is going to be, he's got to dash back over here and make that announcement. And here he goes. And it is indeed Zephaniah Avila, your winner. But both of these guys deserve a big hand because they put on a nice show there, and they both have a tremendous amount of talent. And they're getting a lot of encouragement. They'll come back out again, and they will get the traditional examination that the doctors give them just to be sure that all the cognitive skills are there, and also the fact that they can see okay, that there's nothing, and there was not a lot. This is one thing, when you get into the 1-minute rounds, you're not going to have a lot of activity that is going to be particularly hazardous. But next, we're going to jump up in weight by more than 100 pounds. This is going to be one of the elite bouts, so this is one in which we'll be facing competitors that absolutely are at the top of the experience level. Both of these come in 176 pounds. We've got Christopher Lisi, and he's going against Sheldon Greco. I saw Sheldon last night in this same ring, and certainly was very, very impressive. I've not seen Christopher yet, but let's see just exactly what they bring to the table. But you're going to have probably a lot stronger punching in this one because of the fact that you got two guys who are not quite, if this was in, shall we say, if this was in professional boxing, they would probably be close to middleweight or light heavyweight. Probably right, it would be right on the low end of a light heavyweight. And these will be 2-minute rounds each. Christopher Lisa is going to be in the red corner and Sheldon Greco in the blue. Christopher is wearing white and black, and I guess you would say probably silver and blue is maybe a little bit white. It's probably the lighting in Oman Arena that's giving me a problem with that. So both of them are largely in black and white, but so follow the gloves. The red gloves will be Christopher, and Sheldon Greco will be in the blue gloves. There's Christopher Lisa. And Greco, official giving the instructions. Our 14th bout of 17 that we had that started way back at 4:30 this afternoon. But it's been a fun evening, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And here we go. 2-minute rounds. So these guys will have double the time as our previous competitors to show what their talent is. Both these guys very well built at 176. And very aggressively coming in, but answering is Christopher Lisa, but Sheldon Greco being very aggressive. Christopher tries to answer with a couple of blows to the body. Trying to go in with the right is Greco, and ducking out of the way. Nice job of corralling him over in the corner is Christopher Lisa. A couple of those blows landed quite well. He goes in with the left once again. And try to go in with a wild one to the body that missed. Greco trying to go right. And again, back in close and managed to escape from the turnbuckle. And Lisa's coach is telling him, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. He's tried to lead with a couple of lefts that just did not connect. And Lisa trying to come back with a left of his own. We're about a minute into this first round between these two elite competitors. Going to the body. Greco did a good job going to the body. Tries to go again. 10 seconds remaining in round one. And pounding away to the head, not there. End of round one. So in the first half of round one, you saw some strong performances by Christopher Lisa, but Greco, particularly with the encouragement of his coaches, were coming back. He was coming back with some blows to the body that were connecting. And so that is how it goes in round one. When we get through with this one, we're going back down in classification to the intermediates, and that is going to be a couple of 120-pounders, but it's going to be the girls. So you're going to see a couple of girls put on the gloves, and it'll be Olivia Reeves going against Madison Hicks, and I saw them both last night. They should be quite entertaining at it. And remember, Worthy Road Sports is your #1 source for sports, for events, and for the religious life in our area. And we invite you to advertise with Worthy Road Sports, because I guarantee you, you'll get a bang for your buck and people will see your message. Round two between these two guys. Nice connection by Lisa. And they get them separated once again. Lisa trying to back him up into the corner. Greco trying to aggressively navigate his way out. Misses with a right and with a left. And trying to reach in with a right is Lisa. Greco now got his opponent. Nice body blow. And he's separating them. There's no standing 8 count on that one. Going to the head with a left and a right. And another right. Lisa trying to retaliate, and he goes to the head once again with a right. A wild swinging right that does not connect. Greco trying to back away from that assault that you're seeing right now. They're going to the right again. And a hard punch under the arm by Greco. This has been an entertaining second round so far. And a standing 8 count on Greco, who didn't agree with the decision. All right, they'll bring them back together. That's our first standing 8 count of the bout. Hard left goes in for Lisa. And trying to respond with a flurry is Greco. Going back in with a right, and that is the end of the second round, and certainly that standing 8 count had to put some points on the board for Christopher Lisa. So they're going to try to get Greco revived and reset. As they say, reboot for this third round, because he took a pounding there at the latter stages of that first round. This building that we are in here has hosted the Harlem Globetrotters over the years. It has hosted Holiday on Ice back in earlier years. It has been really a place where there have been an enormous number of concerts. This is also the place that for the opening game of the season, I got to look back up here, but it was November 21st, 1993, that the late Coach Pat Summitt won her 500th coaching victory in a game that was televised live from here on ESPN. So this is a building with a lot of great sports history behind it, and boxing has also been a part of it, as well as professional wrestling. Greco trying to go in with the body, but being very aggressive, going into the inside. Lisa has really been able to make a lot of maneuvers here on the inside and trying to push his opponent back up against the ropes. Lisa making an adjustment to his headgear. And the official says, okay, he wanted to be sure that Greco could continue. That was a nice right to the chin. Goes to the chin again. That was a hard right. He's going to separate them. This is another standing 8 count. That was a hard right to the chin. Get one more standing 8 count, and that'll be it. I'm trying to move in a left to the chin. Going into the head again. A left and a right. And it's going to be another standing 8 count. Greco seems a little wobbly, and that's it. When he leaned up against the turnbuckle, that was pretty much it, and we knew it. And so the referee stops the bout after the third standing 8 count, and the winner is going to be Christopher Lisa. And he just took the fight right to Greco, and he frankly took what Greco gave him and responded. And, I mean, that was just a textbook bout on his part. And this guy is extremely talented, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot more things from him in the future, will we, from Christopher Lisa. And these two guys congratulate each other, but I got to tell you, Greco took a pretty good pounding in that round. And I think it was a very, very smart decision for the referee to stop that bout early. And they will be, the medical people will definitely be doing a significant check over of Greco just to be sure that he's okay and that he can function very, very well. And one of the things in the officials meeting yesterday that was discussed is they said if it comes down to a case of trying to determine whether to stop a bout or just to let it go on, if you really, in your mind as the official, think that guy's had enough, call it. End it. Because you do not want him to go in and take a bigger pounding and all of a sudden that you've got a serious injury and a guy got to be taken to the hospital. That's happened in Golden Gloves boxing in the past. Not here, but it has happened in the past. And they are waiting on the official announcement of Christopher Lisa as the winner of the bout that was stopped with 18 seconds to go in the third round. So we're back in the ring. So we are down to 3 more to go. And coming your way next, as we mentioned, this is going to be the young women here. The ladies are going to be taking to the ring. Olivia Reeves and Madison Hicks. They will come in at 120 pounds each. Olivia is going to be in the red corner. Madison is in the blue corner. Olivia's wearing red with white trim. And over here to my left, up here above us, in blue and black, I guess you could say black and blue if you wanted to make it what usually you think of in boxing. Olivia is in the red, and Madison Hicks is going to be in the, actually she removed the blue cover, so she's going to be in all black, but she has the blue gloves. So as far as their attire is concerned, Olivia's in red, Madison is in black. The officials checking them over, and then they are going to wait for the ring announcer to get back over here as you hear Michael Buffer in the background with a "Let's get ready to rumble." I don't think we've heard that tonight until now. Olivia Reeves, and she gets a big roar from her fans. Now, Madison Hicks has a decided height advantage, but don't let that fool you, because this little Olivia Reeves, she can move around the ring fast. And after this, we got two more bouts, one in the youth division that will have a couple of guys that will go in at 220 pounds each, and then our finale will be a couple of 201-pounders. One-and-a-half-minute rounds, 90 seconds in each round. And trying to start out aggressively all right off the bat is Olivia Reeves, and she goes into the body. And then there's a little bit of a retaliation to the head. Madison Hicks attempting to counter that early flurry. And that's typical Olivia Reeves. She is like a whirlwind when she begins a bout. And you got a lot of folks around here that have stayed around for this bout because they like to see these two young ladies perform. And trying to go into the body is Olivia. Madison trying to fend off, goes with a left that was not much authority on it. Goes in with a right to the body. And there goes one to the chin by Madison Hicks. And a wild swing by Olivia Reeves. Olivia has no fear because she's giving away about 5 inches in height. Up against the ropes, and they back them off. 10 seconds remaining in round one. Glancing blow. There goes one that goes to the nose, and we are at the end of round one. There's one thing about it that I noticed last night is that these young ladies, when they finish their bouts, they both have grins on their faces because I think the pure enjoyment they have out of doing something that not a lot of girls do is really something that they take a lot of pride in. And so, you know, once they get the headgear off, they're always all smiles and they're congratulatory of their opponent, as we've seen across the board tonight. It has been an evening of great sportsmanship, and I think that's one of the big things about Golden Gloves boxing is because you do have people, they'll go at it hard in the ring, but when it's over with, you know, they all shake each other's hands, congratulate each other, and that is what I think is a distinctive note of this sport. We're about 8 seconds away from the start of round two. And Olivia tries to go right in with a flurry again, and Madison trying to use some of her height advantage to pull her away. Madison trying to go in with a couple of left jabs. And Olivia trying to go into the body. Both of them missed a couple of glancing blows. None of those connected, and you're hearing Madison's coaching staff say, go to the body. There's a wild swinging left by Olivia. And trying to go in, leading with the left again, is Madison Hicks. Good duck out of the way, and trying to go back with a body is Olivia Reeves. Glancing off the top of the head. We got about 30 seconds left in this second round. Ten seconds remaining in the round, and again, a couple of exchanges that did not connect. Madison tried to go in with a left, and that's the end of round two. Now, I know that there are probably a lot of you at home that if you have not seen this before, you wonder what in the world are girls doing in Golden Gloves boxing? Well, it's not new. In fact, it's been going on probably for the better part of 20 years that girls had an opportunity to take. That is the second time tonight. That may be setting a new record for me. But they have, in all honesty, what you have seen here is over the last 20 years, and you talk about kickboxing areas, and there are boxing gyms that young women are welcome to go into and just learn the sweet science just like anybody else. And they have coaches that do the best they can to protect them in every way possible. So it is absolutely nothing new. You just don't have the percentages of people competing as you do, well, obviously, with the guys. And there is Olivia, goes in like a hurricane to start with, and Madison trying to fend her off. That's Olivia's style. Start the round big. You got about a minute, 15 seconds left to show the judges. Madison Hicks trying to go to the body, and ducking down is Olivia Reeves. Going to the head is Olivia. Now going to the body is Madison Hicks. As I say, there's a lot of enthusiastic fans that have stayed around for this one. A wild swinging right by Olivia. Recovering with a left. That's a left-right-left combination, and another left and right by Madison. Trying to rally with a flurry is Olivia Reeves, and she's getting enthusiastic encouragement from her corner. And they both are whirling at each other here as we get close to the end of this one. And that is it. And as I say, big smiles on both of their faces when it's over. That's distinctive about both of them. You saw Olivia just grabbed and hugged Madison at the end. They both had a big smile on their faces, and that is just distinctive because, you know, you start pounding on each other like that, and just as soon as the bell rings, you're just, it's like it's your best friend that you just pounded. But we will find out who the winner is of this one momentarily as they are collecting the judges' scorecards. And each one of them goes over to offer a word of thanks and encouragement to the opposite coaches. And I really was last night impressed with the just sheer joy and encouragement that both of these kids had when they were in with different opponents. And as I say, this is our 15th bout out of 17 tonight, and we got two more And then it'll be time to wrap it up for another year of Hub City Fight Night. Let's see what the judges have decided.
And your winner, bout 15 of ring 1, fighting out of the blue corner.
And it is Madison Hicks. And that seemed pretty, and not that Olivia didn't. Olivia gave a huge effort, but it just seemed as though Madison had the advantage, particularly in punches landed, and she was the better defensive fighter. So, and again, the medical people over there where you see right there in that corner, they're checking them out to be sure that everything is okay with both of these young ladies. And they came away looking really good at the end of it, so I don't think there's going to be anything serious. And we haven't had that, thank goodness, there's only one boxer that we had last night and that was the one that the doctor stopped because he just, it looked like he had taken a little bit too much of a pounding, but he was okay. He was able to leave under his own power. Now we get to the bigger guys. And we got a couple of 220-pounders in the ring. The biggest one that we have had in the entire event. Last night we had a 240-pounder who was defeated. But here goes your traditional stomps in each quadrant of the ring. In the red corner, you're going to have Caden Corona. Caden is going to be in black and white. And in the matching blue to his corner is Joshua Liddell. And I saw both of these guys last night. Either one of them are very capable of coming away with the belt at the end of this one. And then we have one more that is considered to be an elite bout. And again, they are the most experienced, and they will be coming along right after this. And then we will, shall we say, wrap up the package for another year of our Hub City Fight Night. Caden Corona, and he does that kind of stomp that we used to see that Butcher Vachon used to do in professional wrestling. Joshua Liddell. Now, Joshua's going to have about a 3-inch height advantage, but as we have seen, that does not always mean everything when you're talking about Golden Gloves boxing. Because a shorter guy can move into the body sometimes much easier. And we are just about ready to start it. And here goes round one. Corona is a little bit more disciplined and doesn't try to move in those big flurries that you often see with the younger fighters in the first round. Liddell is very confident. He always feels like that he's in control in the bout. There goes a big right by Corona. Corona reminds me of one of these guys that I saw years ago in roller derby that was called the Big Machine, Buddy Atkinson Jr. And he moves around the ring just about the same way. And again, these two guys are really measuring each other as we are in the first minute of this 3-rounder. And a big flurry from both of them up against the ropes. And it looks as though Liddell really came away with the better of that. Now they're telling Liddell to keep up the 1-2 combination, and that's what he just did there with a left and right. Fell short with a second 1-2. And going to the body is Corona. Tried a wild swinging left. Referee brings them back together. And a flurry to the head for each one, neither one of them landing a very significant blow. 10 seconds remaining in round one. A lot of punches thrown in that round, but not a lot of them making a major connection. Last night when I saw Corona, he was one that the match he had, he was pretty much in control of almost from the get-go. On the other hand, you look at Liddell, and he is more of the defensive type of fighter. He's going to be looking for the opening that his opponent gives him that suddenly is going to allow him to land that 1-2 combination that his coaches were just talking about over in his corner of the ring. And that's, really in listening to a lot of these coaches, again, the first round they're measuring each other, but in the second round they want to begin to have each fighter begin to work to their strength. Because you got to remember, as opposed to pro boxing where you have 3 rounds, 3-minute rounds, you have 3-minute rounds, and it's, very, very intensive to endure. 2-minute rounds, you got a lot less time to be able to show what you can do to impress the judges. A lot of combinations there. Nice right hand by Liddell. They're still telling him to use his 1-2 combination, and he tried, but Corona ducked out of the way. That was another one that landed to the chin. Liddell is looking impressive so far in this round. Corona tries to go in with a left, fell short. Liddell dancing away a bit. Now both of them with a flurry. Liddell backing up to the ropes. And you may be hearing him again talking about 1-2. They want him to use his combination. Corona's done a good job defensively to stay away from it. And Corona trying to go into the body as they get up against the ropes. A little less than a minute remaining in this second round. And Liddell trying to go in, and now Corona goes back and goes for a long right hand that fell a bit short. Liddell, and they're telling him to be aggressive. And we're getting down to the closing stages of this round. Corona leads with a left that went over the head of Liddell. 10 seconds remaining in the round. And again, trying to go back to that 1-2 combination, but the referee says don't do it behind the head. And that's it. All right, we got 2 minutes remaining in this one. They have really contrasting styles because Corona, being the shorter guy, he tries to go high, but he's probably the more effective body puncher. But what Liddell's camp is wanting him to do is solidly come in with his left-right combinations. And he usually leads with the left first and then comes back with the right. And he's been more effective at connecting with that. I want to thank Paul Schultze and everybody for our fine production tonight. I know Joe Holloway over in Ring 2 feels the same way. It's been a real joy to be able to bring you all of the action tonight here at Oman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee, the historic building that is 53 years old and has been the host for so many outstanding athletic events over the years. And we're about set to go for the third and final round. Remember, Corona in black, Liddell in blue. And Corona starting out with a flurry to the body. Tried a wild left that didn't connect. Now, Liddell with his 1-2 combination going to the back. And the referee telling him not to do that again. Going to the body again is Corona, and he ducks. Liddell trying to punch his way out with his combinations. And Corona goes in and bores in, if you will. That looked like a battering ram. Corona trying to go high to the chin. and instead is taking a flurry from Liddell. And Corona trying to go in with a series of body punches. And a warning to Corona this time. They bring them back together. And a triple combination on the part of Liddell, but Corona fighting his way out of it. Going with a double. A left-right combination by Corona, who's attempting here in these closing stages to impress the officials, and he's going in with that flurry of body punches. Ten seconds remaining in the bout. And Corona still up against the turnbuckle, going in with the body punches, and now trying to retaliate is Liddell, and that's it. So we have wrapped this one up, and we'll see whether Liddell, with his combinations that went more to the head, or whether some of the body punches in that third round by Corona will be what really told the tale with the judges on that. So it is interesting to see both of these combinations that you see, and they're trying to get the headgear off of Liddell, and they do. So we have had a very busy Saturday afternoon and evening with 16 out of 17 bouts, and the finale is going to be another two guys, and Corona doing his stomp. The Butcher Vachon stomp is what that is. And some of you guys who are as old as I am, you know who Butcher Vachon was. He was a Canadian, and he had a finishing hold called the Hangman's Hold. And he was a real villain, if ever there was one. He was considered to be one of the nicest guys in the professional wrestling business, but he was in the ring. He could make the whole crowd come alive, hating him just as one. Well, both these guys, they gave a lot in this 16th bout of the evening. And again, and here's your winner. And it is Joshua Liddell. And Liddell does a great job of holding up the hand of Corona. He respected his opponent greatly. And that's, again, I've said this more times tonight than maybe some of you really wanted to hear, but you don't see this as much in some other sports. Just great sportsmanship with those two guys as they left the ring. And this is embedded, and you have to say this comes from the coaches that spend so much time working with these young people to develop their skills in the ring, but also trying to teach them some life lessons about how you treat your fellow man when you're outside the ring or when the bout is over. And that is the key thing that I think more than anything else as to who wins or who loses all of these bouts. The key thing is the fact that we've seen such great sportsmanship all weekend long here at Oman Arena. And we are down to our last one. And entering the ring right now is Riyad Bobar. He's going to be in the blue corner, dressed in black and white. And in the opposite corner, in the red corner, is Latravius Robinson. And we don't have a set weight on each one of these guys. They come in a classification that's called 201 plus. We just know that both of these guys are above 200 pounds. And I'm going to tell you, Latravius Robinson, he is a monster coming in here. He will be in black with blue trim. And he's doing his stomp around each quadrant. Robinson has got to go at least about 260. but he's obviously very competent at what he does, because to get to this championship round, he had a strong bout last night. I saw him, and he was really all over the place. And this is our finale of the evening of what has been about 3.5 hours of outstanding competition. And we hope that if you've enjoyed this, that you will join us for all the rest of the sports we have right here on Worthy Road Sports, both on YouTube and on Facebook, and also streaming on various college athletic sites around West Tennessee. Here is Latravius Robinson. Just remember, he'll be wearing the red gloves, and the blue gloves, Riyad Barber, or Bobar, pardon me. Now, Riyad comes in at about probably 205. And as we say, Robinson is in at about at least 260, maybe even 270. 305, I'm just told. So Robinson, he's the biggest guy we've had here all weekend long. So let's see what he does. You got to figure that Bobar is going to be the faster of the two of them, but I'll tell you, this is a big guy to have. And there goes one right to the chin. Tell you what, Robinson moves pretty well for a big guy. Bobar going with a combination. He's got about 3 inches of height on Robinson, does Bobar. We're just almost to the 1 minute mark in round one. They go to the head and go to the chin, and another combination with a right. Robinson ducks one. Bobar biding his time, moving, circling right. That counterclockwise movement is very, very strong. Goes to the body. Goes to the face. Landed a couple of blows. Not real hard ones, but landed a couple of blows. They are up against the turnbuckle and move back out. And Robinson misses with a right. Bobar counters with a left-right combination. He's going in with a couple of left jabs and a third one. And going into the body. Bobar has no fear about this guy coming in at 305 pounds. He's using his lighter weight to his advantage. 10 seconds remaining in round one. And that's it. So round one. And Robinson goes to his corner and Bobar to his. And, you know, it's real interesting to me when you have a guy who is the size of Robinson, how much does each round take out of him compared to a much lighter opponent who comes in probably about 100 pounds less? That's a really interesting question, and I think we'll see more of that in rounds 2 and 3. But, again, the movement of Robinson is not bad at all. You're seeing him make a lot of calculated moves in the ring. It's just, does that extra size take more out of him than it will out of Bobar as we go through these final 2 rounds? Perhaps not, because of the fact that these are just 2-minute rounds. Both of these guys experienced. They're at the elite level of Golden Gloves boxing. Robinson trying to go in leading with a left. And to the body is Bobar. Those are glancing blows that he just threw. It's interesting to see if Robinson will try the strategy. Going with a right hand. Bobar not being countered as much by Robinson. Tell you what, he'd be a tough guy to bring down, though. And going into the chest is Robinson. And you hear encouragement coming from Bobar's camp over about 12 feet from where we are seated. Bobar leading with a left and comes back with a right in combination. And here they go again, trying to go in with a right, but short was Robinson. Riyadh circling right, circling left this time, going counterclockwise. Got about 30 seconds left here in round number 2. Let's see if he goes in for the body. He did, and he had a wild swinging right. Robinson had a wild swinging left. 10 seconds remaining in round 2, and he goes to the face again. Landed a couple of pretty good blows now. Robinson goes to the body hard, and that is the end of round number 2. So we're about to hit the final round of this evening. And you still got some people who have hung around. Some of those who are from distant cities probably have already hit the road or are staying back in their hotels tonight. But again, I want to thank all of you who have watched tonight and have seen some of this great talent that we've had for this Hub City Fight Night. It's been a real joy to bring this to you, and we are sincerely hoping that when we do this again next year, I'll have the privilege to be with you once again. It has been really a treat to be able to see how all of these young people function in this environment, and also because there are so many things going on at once, and the biggest challenges that you have, especially the challenges that you have with 2 matches going on at the same time. But it doesn't seem to bother these fighters whatsoever. Ring number 2 is wound up for the evening, so this is the last one here in the house. And going for the body hard is Robinson. He tries to come back with a right. Robinson trying to duck away from those jabs and manages to. And a 1-2 combination by Riyadh. It is just not quite connecting with the same authority as he did in the earlier rounds. Goes for the body. Now going to the head is Robinson, connecting with his left. Going in with a right. And there is crowd telling Bobar to go back with his combinations again. A wild left that if that had connected, that could have been the end of this one. A hard right by Robinson, and they're going to stop this one for a standing 8 count. And you see a smile on the face of Riyadh Bobar, who says, I'm fine, but that was a hard one to the face. That was the best punch of the night thrown by Robinson. Bobar trying to dance away. Hard punch to the body. And again, going to the body himself is Robinson. Bobar moving to his right. And a left by Robinson. And Bobar takes one to the head. And another one. Robinson has been much more the aggressor in this round. Missed a left. And that's it. That was an impressive 3rd round, and more so by Robinson. And so we're going to see what our final decision of the night is. And for those of you watching us live, remember that we'll be with you again on Tuesday night, live from Fred DeLay Gymnasium in Jackson, Tennessee, in which we will bring you Union University volleyball. And Paul Schultze and I will be there along with his great camera crew and one of the fine teams in the Gulf South Conference, the Union Lady Bulldogs. We'll see just exactly if they can put another notch on the belt of the Gulf South Conference schedule that is rapidly coming to a close. So here we go. They're getting the fighters in there, and this is the last tabulation of the evening, and let's see who's going to come away with the belt and who takes the plaque. And we're ready for the announcement.
And your winner of the main event, ring one, fighting out of the blue corner.
And it is Riyad Bobar, but I can tell you that Robinson certainly has nothing to be ashamed about, because in that last bout, that last round, he really gave everything he had to try to give the judges something to look at and consider carefully. Well, we've had 17 bouts. Of course, this all started yesterday here with the preliminaries that we had here at Ullman Arena, and now 17 bouts, and also over with Joe Holloway, the same number. We've had 34 matches here across the board in Ullman Arena, and so it's been a delight to be with you this entire weekend, but particularly tonight. So for Paul Schultze, our executive producer and director, and our entire crew from Hub City Fight Night at Ullman Arena in Jackson, Tennessee, this is Steve Beverly saying so long from the great Hub City of West Tennessee.
Worthy Road Studios. Worthy Road Studios is a full-service television and live streaming service that can provide live broadcast coverage outside of normal studios. We own all the equipment needed to produce live events. We are a road studio, meaning all equipment is portable. We can work out of small, unusual spaces not designed for broadcasting while still delivering a TV quality product. We use wireless communication systems and have invested in high-definition wireless video transmission. Worthy Road Studios has been producing local television for over 10 years. We work with different media organizations producing live high school sports, as well as Union University basketball and volleyball. We use multiple cameras, on-screen graphics, live scoreboards, and live picture-in-picture. We can do slow-motion instant replay with a telestrator. We can have referees mic'd and use sideline reporters with wireless microphones and cameras. Contact Worthy Road Studios by Facebook, YouTube, or call us at 731-499-1730. We would like to help you with your live event by streaming it to your Facebook page or to YouTube, all live.